out for maybe Primorsk or something else instead close by.
I think it's a very valid point.
All right, well, that is that. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time now to shift gears. We're going to be going to Erangel here as we go from first to second. We get faster and faster and faster, and we're going to be moving on into game number 3. It's round 7 here of the PEL Kickoff Cup Grand Final, and we have relatively opened up what we have for that middle pack now, as all of these teams look to vie for extra money here for the Kickoff Cup. Let's go over to the commentary team here for all the action on round number 7.
Welcome to the green fields of Erangel. I'm looking forward to this one, to get off that desolate desert and have a look as to what we see here. 2 new winners to my eyes, having a Vanguard and Jokers picking up matches in 5th and 6th game. But what do we have for the 7th now? I want to see the drops. I want to see where people go. Do we see any adjustments? Do we see any changes? Do we see that Twitter banter really coming through?
So we start off all the way down south and we work our way northeast and end over Stalba. This opens up a good proportion of the map for those who like to loot in the east. The more difficult spots to get to will be Georgia Paul, that northern end. Even the south will be a bit of a swing. It'll be a long drop and maybe a vehicle. For NIP, you may... Nope, we won't. I'm going to say you may see their readjustment. They like to repost up at Lipovka now and again, but they're going to commit to it, so they'll have to get these vehicles, maybe this long drop, and they will be the slowest to get the boots on the ground. This is the first time we see FaZe really allowed some playing space and a bit of breathing room. Yesterday's games of Erangel was not favourable for them. We had one where the flight path basically buggered them, and the other one wasn't anywhere near it. So now they get given an open amount of land. We've seen a few times, both FaZe and TSM, when they go this area, though, as you can see at the moment, and kind of kick it just towards the top end of the farm area, it can be lackluster in terms of vehicles and utility. Yep. So you might have a bit of a difficult run if you want to go to the home position, which for them is Milta Power and Milta Mini Power Station. The difficulties, speaking going forward, there isn't really many. I don't mean to throw this as any BM or anything, but you don't have the powerhouse teams like TSM, like G2, basically lingering in the distance. Tornado Energy, they are struggling in this lobby, and I think it wouldn't be unfair to say that. They'll take up residency in Milta and only be the difficult position to get through as we look onward for FaZe. Circle, it's up on Erangel. There's a lot of land in play. This could be a decent game. Yeah,
it certainly could be. I don't think anyone's really in too much threat. I don't think we'll see too much early game. I think we know what we're in for. 2 teams in Yasnaya. We have 3D Max and Zook to Numb out towards the east. And I think a little bit of ENCE in the kind of background. They are obviously up towards Stalba. That's no problem. Towards the center, Besiktas, Digital Athletics. It's what we've kind of grown to expect here. Team Liquid centered up, of course, and 7 out towards the west. Beyond that, though, everyone's kind of going where they're going. There's nothing really to kick off this with a bang. It's going to be that first rotation. Of course, the eastern side is going to be very, very rife with players.
This is one of those circles where when it does center up, we have a hell of a lot of teams and players still alive. You wouldn't see too many, or at least we don't expect, in my opinion, to see too many dying on rotation.
Yeah.
Liquid, they're always the first one to leave Pachinki, so I expect to see that anytime within the next minute or 30 seconds or so. Besiktas, it's not the usual spot. I mean, I'd probably expected them more to be towards the western side, but given the flight path, I can understand why they are here, just below Roshawk through Sunken. Jempty has left Liquid, as we mentioned. It would happen. They've gone early. 7 are kicking it through Gatka, so they have to be careful they don't overextend too far. Jempty's not too far off of Buster, so if they capture an eyeline on one of them, we could see an early player going down again. You won't see too many dying early for the simple fact of how this circle is perpendicular to the flight path. There's
those shots. This is a little bit scary for Jempty. He's lightly geared up. He does have a gun himself, but ooh, wait, Ibby, did you? Oh no, Jempty's gone down. This is a bit of a travesty here. Ibby did get the trade out though, luckily for Jempty.
Beep beep. Dead.
Revival come in. It's always a threat if you're going for these early scouts, but Team Liquid quick to follow. They're not exactly leaving one man to do it all himself.
It's nice to see a bit of commitment. Yes, Jempty was the initial scout, but there is a follow-up at least and a response. Dives out the vehicle, could have run him over. We're committed with that M16. I'm surprised he had it on tri-burst as well. I understand it's decent from full automatic, but usually putting it on single tap fire works wonders. This time round, it will be the response though. He does go down. One member of 7 going out early. Liquid picking up another point, not as if they actually needed it or anything, but nevertheless, they'll continue forward with a full 4-man roster. ENCE have made the move early. Nope, they haven't. Excuse me, completely wrong. It's up to Nam, almost the same color. They will have to run the gauntlet. Frank Ario even. It's not too far off of it.
MBS is just down the ledge here. MBS is going to hear these steps, and Frank's probably surprised. Frank has just turned
Smashes
on
him in the head.
50 HP chipped away from Frank, and MBS just got battered. Early positioning from the NIP player, trying to get out towards that sort of isolated position, and James again, another target. All these scouts are trying to get to position early, all very lightly geared. And Zuktanam, though, do get good position here. They managed to kind of take that under the nose of James. He's a little on his own as well, though. He's not with the main force, so he's going to get on the go and get out of there.
Yeah, we'll turn him face again. We're keeping an eye line on, I like to call us poor man's Pachinki, just to the north of it.
Yeah.
That means the rest of him and the roster of Liquid can re-rotate, and they'll be set themselves up inside the yellows, just outside of the ruins. Beautiful Death is pulling up here. Tommel awaits the location of the door.
These two keep clashing. That'd be some nice vengeance from last game.
Taking a look over at the continuation. Francario may have took out one from NIP, but now he has to face the full force of Liquid. Jimpty with the follow-up nade. There's another one in the back. Bounces it off the back wall. And Francario, it may have been a beautiful swing onto MBS earlier on. But Jimpty's got your number, my friend. My God, look at this. Breach and clear. All 3 members of Besiktas committing to the cause. A beautiful death. He's running for his life.
The drive-by.
Oh, no.
Oh, the BM. I love it. Show me more of that. I love this. I absolutely love it. I don't care what people think. That brings deep, deep joy to me. And we're going to see more of that. If Digital Athletics want to answer back, they know exactly where Besiktas are. They know exactly where they're waiting. Go and get them. That's going to be a brilliant storyline going through. You're my MVP, Besiktas. You really are. I don't care if you have to make more sorry notices.
Drills his little banana suit.
He does what? Oh, no. What's that? Uber? Where is that as well? Is that... I think it's safe? Yeah.
And we spoke about not losing too many people on rotation. If FaZe are going to give it up themselves, then fair play, lads. But it's not going to fare well in the long game. Keep you updated and try and build this story as it is unfolding all the way on the west. Straight up on the west coast, actually, as far as you can get. A Vanguard will be coming from Prim. NLT have made it across the western bridge. Unity are just scouting the eastern bridge and being very cautious that they make the approach just past Milta. FaZe, last ones, besides the teams all the way down the south, making inside the circle. Mexi has basically had to commit himself to go and get Uber back on his feet. Give him a pat on the head, a few mates, and say, on you go, my little friend. ENCE, they've come down from the mountains.
The Mountain Men.
The Mountain Men, indeed. If that circle goes north, they're going to be absolutely laughing. I tell you who isn't laughing, Mert. He just gets collateral by a vehicle.
Yeah, probably not expecting that to commit straight through. Noggy's just banked that off the wall. A little bit of style points for that. And Digital Athletics, from kind of having a phenomenal game to end out on Miramar, they played so well there, to already losing out on some very big names. Sixmo is left very alone here in the school.
Look, we've been doing this for a while, Lauren. Can I ask you?
Yes.
Do you think they're going to be a little bit tilted with the body disrespect earlier on?
Oh, yes.
It does annoy you as a player, doesn't it?
Oh, I would be losing my mind, but...
You have to learn to deal with it. It's one of those things of being a pro player. You have to learn how to control your mental state in these games.
Oh, exactly. It's what it is. I mean, this is Battle Royale. We don't have to all be friends. You don't have to be friends in the server, right? That's the thing. Outside of it, that's a different case. Inside the server, you are against each other. And if these things equate to you maybe tilting another team, making them aggressive, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Some teams could probably take this and then make it even harder to play against them. They'll just become, you know, enraged and play even a better game. But if it hinders you, that's your own fault. You know what I mean? Like everything else outside of the server, you should be friends. Inside, you're enemies. We are seeing Na'Vi and Tornado kind of a small clash and then fleeing in the distance.
They just completely banked it. One player went down. Unfortunately, tried to go for the 2 players on the back of the bike. And the rest of Na'Vi turn and face. They kill him. Circle. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to be kind to? We are going central.
Ooh,
okay. So for ENCE, with that water in the middle, yes, it might only be a small river, but we're not in phase 3 yet. I'd still say we could potentially move down here, and it will be going towards the south with that landmass, all of FaZe on the rotate. I say rotate, they're still trying to get inside the circle.
Oh, who's called that?
NLT are right next to them, so that's going to be out the back of the vehicle. Lock now commit to the farmhouse.
FaZe are just struggling so much here. It feels like it's a rough game for them. They're fine, but it just feels everything they're doing it's kind of trickier than it should be.
Just be aware here of an extremely wide rotate. Unity, they're going past, they're out in the blue currently, past Yasnaya. And they're going to hit the north just off of the Yasnaya pond. Come down from the cliff faces and maybe hit that bridge side. There is a little compound there. The Harry Potter isn't in play. I would not expect them to think ENCE is still waiting in the Roshawk 3 stacks just on the hill on the opposing side of the river. This might be their demise if they don't anticipate a team still lingering back. Yeah, DA getting the full force here. Mixie with the slow walk. Does step up on the cover of fire. Spots one. There is.
This is FaZe pulling up here. Looks he's found D's, and here we go. Tab is close, you know, boots on the ground. He's on the lower level. This is where he's going to potentially get the attention. He's split from the others. A little isolated, to say the least. Fire comes in from afar. He does need to be careful. That's Uber laying it down. Dead Nade comes in. Moon is there, finds the angle for him. FaZe can't keep the pressure building enough to kind of deny this. And now Uber might be banged to rights. I think that nade has done more than enough, and FaZe suffer casualties. But can they get this house under control? Can they steal this from the Jokers? Angle spotted. Moon not going to get away with this anymore.
8C can watch the cross angle, but someone does have his number. Fake finds Ultra in the kill feed as well. Keep a tabs on that one. You can see it in the bottom right-hand side. Gets a second one as well. Simsy takes one to the jawline. That's a headshot and a half, so Fake absolutely pinging Besiktas with his K9. And look at this, Lauren.
They're pushing
Called
it.
a monster. Fancies a piece of this. AKM
That's
in
so
hand.
good.
Being aggressive. There is a response, though. Looks from the opposing side of the building. And now Tommel reads it well. But Called a mentor. You have to take the beast up close and
Third
personal.
party, Zuktanam just stole that as well. This is from the kind of poor part of Pachinki. We're seeing FaZe Clan finally stepping up, taking out the Jokers. They're the first to go. 16th place. Besiktas are in trouble. Ultra on the run, trying to maybe get back Simsy, potentially. Got a mentor. Trying to look for this, but they need to be careful too. They can't just cross and pressure through the open now because they know that Zuktanam have vision on this.
Oh, I was just about to say they have to be aware that Navi's on this hillside. At distance, a doozy just pings Calvin Klein. And everything that Desperado's built up towards that push has just collapsed upon them. 2 third parties have injected themselves into this fight.
Oh,
and what a replay.
Shot. Really nice. That could have been baiting that nade potentially. And
That
big moves.
How does he lean? That's disgusting.
That's really nice.
Oh, Simsy, nade in hand.
Oh, this could be 2 or 3
Imagine.
if the nade's good. The tag's not bad, the nade's a little too far though. Na'Vi on the move, they can get through the field. Simsy turns, gets a couple of shots towards it, but you can't forget the beast in the back and this Desperado's peak, and they lose out. Simsy and Ultra, Besiktas hold the line. Calvin Klein's still alive in the distance. Simsy is down to 6 HP. They're just hemorrhaging blood right now, but they still stand.
It's a bit overzealous to go hunting for more when you've got such little HP.
Oh, Na'Vi have rocked up
yeah,
here.
we have to go stick with that fight because there's still 3 teams all in a trifecta battle. Zen in the background, Na'Vi take the front line. They also have the ridgeline, more importantly. Simsy finally will get a heal off, but the rest of Besiktas are falling at the wind. Ultra goes down. Lux will still stand point with the Kar-98, but really, what can he do? Desperado's at the opposing side. He's already been knocked once, so we need to be aware of what gear he's actually wearing. Simsy clawing back the health, that's fine. Coldamenta probably left to bleed out because he knows that Zen is still kicking in the distance. Another third party will apply some pressure to Na'Vi, maybe force them to move or build a shack. They're going.
Oh, God.
Tornado energy.
Hit the shot. There it is. Mika squeaks the shot before he goes through the dip. Almost overextending on the angle for that. I think that was Digital Athletics getting the fire towards them. And let's put this in perspective, Rich. Besiktas and Desperados aren't in the circle. Na'Vi are oh, that nade. If that just went up that ledge, that's a car. That could be Simsy gone. But they're not in the circle. They have such a just gauntlet, desperate run to get in. Colamenta might be being picked up, but...
If someone's got a nade here, you would know. He's already seen him go in the smoke. If Simsy just passes through, opens the door and says, thank you very much, that'd have been easy 2 points. Lux does keep an eye on this, and it's absolutely fine. And it's third party galore. Look at this. Na'Vi are chomping at the bit. They know these teams have to push towards them. As soon as they do, they're just going to collapse upon them with holy hell. This circle, while all this went down, it shifted more towards the west. And it's currently an IGL freaking nightmare. This is moving into phase number 4. You'll have the... Where do you go with this one? What do you have to bank on? At the moment, with how this water's working, you would say potentially there's more room in the south, but it could really go anywhere. This is going to be crucial for the next game. Put your bets down. Place your bets. Put your money where your mouth is. And hope your IGL knows what they're talking about, because this is going to be fun.
Sixmo's rolling up to a Vanguard. I think they can hear the vehicle, whatever he's in, but I'm not sure if... Yeah, I don't know if he's going to put it right on them, but you can see Nokativ and Azverin moving on towards that one. So Sixmo could be in trouble. I don't know what cover he's got. He's got a little bit, but you can see them hunting in the fields here. They really want that 3D Max, trying to stay alive. They've been pinned in towards the edge of Rozhok. That's not ideal.
If a grenade hits that back wall, it'll just roll down and smash them to bits. It's not good. I mean, it's the best of nothing if you don't have it. Out of the blue and into danger. Besiktas. It seems the last one live, but did the other one get away as well? Lux was still alive. Yes, Lux is just in front of him, but he's now been bodied by FaZe in front of him. They've made it inside the circle, so Simsy will be the last one to arrive here. Just hear the wheels trucking along.
Like, what is that noise? I was like, are you breathing weirdly?
Damaged.
I thought it was you having some sort of respiratory issue. Well, I was about to be very worried.
Circle.
It's south, and there's a whole lot of water in that.
Oh, that's so wild, Lauren.
Yeah, Sixmo got caught. We saw Vanguard really sweeping the fields as soon as they heard that vehicle pull up. So they've just hunted that one out. So the northern side currently is a territory of a Vanguard, Desperados, and what was Sixmo. You do have Unity up there, but they're going to all have to move south. This is really, really hard to cross. You have one big road, and you might be able to send it through the water where Mikas is right now. They'd just be kind of running into the backside of Rozhok, but we saw that Zuktanam's position was very, very precarious, and it certainly continued to look like that. Rustamar, beautifully done, and he sticks the landing. 10 out of 10.
This is the water. Some of the ones that weren't as well off. And I suppose it's gone this way because you do have the little mini island across the bridge, so it's kept it in play, and it's banked itself in with as much land as humanly possible. Hence, they made it out from the opposing side.
The ruins are going to be littered as well. 7, Northern Lights, NIP.
Yeah, and then Liquid have actually gone for a split, which is pretty wild. Everyone's just banking into water here. Squeaky's done the same. All of Unity have just committed to the waterfront. Compot and the rest of Tornado Energy, or the
Unity's coming as well.
The remnants of Tornado Energy, should I say. This will be their last stand, Lauren.
Unity are at the door. They're going to be coming in from the other side of this as well. So do not think Liquid are out of the woods just yet, or anyone in this. Oh, the nade comes in from 7. That's over in ruins. We said it was going to be busy, and it certainly is. Northern Lights not lighting up the sky anymore. That is big work coming in from Edelweiss. Incredibly imperative player, and there's Ibby. Good work from him to find Bambaki. That's Digital Athletics down. That was another player, just an isolated one-man player in that situation. Now, Unity have kind of shuffled in here as best they can. Gemty has surely heard this. He has to know there's someone nearby. The vehicle's giving it away, potentially steps, shots, who knows? He knows it now, though. So Dominic, first to fall from them. Unity would like to respond, but can they find an angle? Or does Gemty know how close they are here?
Liquid played this one really close. I'll hold on for now. Run, there's an near the door. You can't hear it because of the smoke. They're all a little bit confused.
Run. They heard it in the last second, maybe just a hit on the floor. James backs out of it. Melman there now can peek the window if you want to. It's a very risky thing. You'd imagine that's being watched. A little bit lackluster from Samty and Liquid there to let that slip. That angle was always potentially going to be watched. Obviously, there's plenty of threats, but if you know there's a player there, you're going to be keeping eyes on that. Calvin Klein finds Squeaky. That's off in the distance. Melman hits the deck, watches the push.
He's moved in the noise of smoke. That's cancelled his movements. They won't have a clue where he is in theory. They'll be still looking at the little back room. That's why he's tucked himself into that corner. Lays down, expects the assault. They don't realize he's there, but the Groza does the job.
He switched to the nade at the worst time. You're always going to be stuck with that. It's that horrible predicament that you can be in where you're like, do I do it? Do I not? It's always going to be tough. Calvin Klein popping off shots. And he's one of the players who can certainly hit them. So do not think anyone is safe just yet. The Watertown has still got 2 teams in it. You have Unity splitting it slightly further to the north. And I guess Team Liquid towards the southeast of it slightly, but it looks like Liquid are really trying to get themselves a way out of here. They're playing closer to the bigger amount of ground so they could potentially gatekeep the northern teams. Again, it feels like Liquid play a couple of steps ahead. We do hear shots in the background. That's between FaZe Clan, Na'Vi, Zuktanam, all in the southeast hillside, praying to get that pick to happen, and you know this is surely going to go south.
Yoink. Okay. Paid by Steve, Liquid, they get lucky. It goes the way of Watertown. Unity's in there as well. Ents, they're on the opposing side of the road, but they could get up against the bridge and maybe give themselves a little bit of a foothold in this circle. Navi, they need to move forward. Zen is on their back, though. They need to be really careful of this one. FaZe, they can play this one where they are for now. They've got a lot of hill coverage, which denies line of sight coming their way. The biggest task is over from Ruins. NLT, Avanga, and NIP. That will be a bloodbath. Oh, by the way, there's 7 there as well. Missed them. 4 teams in Ruins, and only front of it is inside the circle.
Look at them rocking up here. Just a line of power coming through. They're running their way in. I don't know if they know what they're getting into. They certainly had the shots earlier. Inocutive definitely knows what he's in for now. Winning that final game on Miramar might have given them some confidence, but Northern Lights haven't moved from this. They've been dug in deep here. Snoopy could find that incredibly hard to clear that angle, and that's going to be the big problem coming out from this one. Liquid are just fighting everyone, and in the meantime, Unity are moving closer and closer. A dangerous game Liquid are playing here, and now here comes a Vanguard, sweeps through Northern Lights, and they get completely destroyed. But NIP are taking this time to jump ahead.
The Death Squad is here. NIP will be split up, though. That could be the only failure in their plan. 7 has repositioned further into the circle, but given them a point so they can see different angles. The grenades are going up. It's going to be a problem for them. But honestly, with this much cover, it's Avanga who will fall to 2 different teams. The difficulty begins now. Maxi's down, Inocutive down. The grenades will confirm them. Asverin's out. He's healing. That's a bounce off the back wall. Doesn't do as much damage as he probably hoped. NIP need to be aware, though, and need to read ahead of this, that there was another team fighting this one out. Jempty and Ibi, why not turn face all the way across the map and go to town on Navi? But 7, they're the next obstacle here for NIP.
Yeah, 7 hold the kind of edge of Ruins, and these nades are getting very close by. Very, very close by to Azrin. Vard, Gaxi, and Miraku, the last ones alive, are still here. Snoopy and Azrin stand. Besiktas were looking towards that side potentially, but have fallen off that phase just over the other ridge. And then you have Zukta Nam and Na'Vi. So this is a very scary edge circle game. It looks like 7 are taking this opportunity to actually peel off from this. NIP can play the gatekeeping game. Edelweiss and Crab maybe looking late game here, or maybe just move up into a better position on the hillside. Unity could still see them potentially, Liquid could see them, but you have in the north as well, Ents and Desperados. Calvin Klein, he's still here. And those Ruins are not safe at all.
Ents have moved across the road to give themselves a bit more of a foothold. Just to the northern edge of the sunken city, Watertown, Venice, whatever you want to call it. 3D Max, you'd expect they have to move. Gaxi does just clip the back of one of the players.
Got a shift in though.
From Avanga. I mean, NIP and Avanga, their only reason alive is basically because 7's allowed it. They moved out of their position.
Oh my, is this a Watertown ending?
Potentially. It either goes to the field or it goes to the back side of it.
I'd love it to see it. And I like how Liquid have hedged their bets here.
Oh, Ents
you
just
are
sent
seeing, are they?
They literally just bombed it across the road with the vehicle, so they've sent 2 people into the back side of it. Unity now have been put on red alert. There's 3 teams in Watertown. And don't forget, you've still got this one solo player for Desperados, Calvin Klein.
Yep.
Wouldn't expect him to do too much damage, but even a pick can break everything that a team is trying to
really
build up.
could. Especially in these buildings, because they're going to be playing out the windows, trying to keep tabs on this stuff, trying to keep eyes across. Now, Edelweiss has swallowed the entirety of NIP. This is the time for him to engage, but look who's waiting. The remainders of Avanga trying to play it out, but no, they didn't expect Gaxi in the blue. But the fire comes through again. Miraku confirms what started. Aspirin goes down. Gaxi tries to get the hill. And look at it all kicking off now. Besiktas stand and take down 8C. Ents have got into the fight, but they've spotted out 3D Max in the northeast. That's a whole different team. And while this begins, Calvin Klein creeps forward. Lux has spotted another, though. Lux is your last man standing. Luxy on the other side, just waiting, lingering on that ridgeline. There's fire everywhere. Team Liquid are not relenting towards Na'Vi. That continues. Crab spots out Miraku on the run. Fuzzface found Lux. That was the battle going on. It was Muxy who was in front of him, so Fuzzface must have had a different angle. But Besiktas are down. 11 teams remain.
Mexi basically played spoiler and focus fire towards him while Fuzzface came in off the opposing angle. Gaxi has found himself on Mac 14 in that crate, gives himself some gear, but Snoopy holds an angle they did not expect. Will turn! Drills Gaxi into the ground. There is a response from Miraku. So at least for now, Avanga are out and there is some respite. He has to crawl towards him though. Mexi and FaZe, it's time for them to make a move.
They're going. Oh
I mean, what else can you really do at this point?
One's down, Fuzzface is still alive. I think he might still be standing, but for how long? I don't know who can see this. They have one man alive, and yes, but can Liquid get a nade? Can someone ping something there? Or has he just found safety? It looks like 3D Max have fallen in the northeast, and here we go. Edelweiss finds NIP. M249, Rich is far too pleased with this, you smug git, but the revives finally come out and 7 still stand. Look who's alive here. We have some very big names remaining. Na'Vi are being just kind of kept so far away. They did sneak poke Molodoy and he is safe. I'm pretty sure Best Lock is done for. We look at who stands. We have Zuktan Nam, we have Ents with 4. We have 7 with 2, we have Na'Vi with 1, Unity still here, and FaZe, they're down to 1 man, and he's barely a 1 man. Look at that HP.
Someone just cracked him in the head and basically saves Fuzz's life. How much longer you can really withstand this position in the middle of the map, I do not know. Fuzzface, you are a wizard, my friend. Been able to claw it up into the top 7. Circle. We're having a water ending here, Lauren.
I've never seen this. I genuinely have not seen this in a very long time. Rustamar finds Gemty. There should be revives potentially on these players because they are the ones in the compounds. All the teams in the fields now have to move up, and the problem is it's very hard to do so with this many teams, with large amounts of players in these buildings. But you've got to think, all of these teams have taken fights, apart from Ents really close quarters, so they can't have all that much left. Finally, Fuzzface gets found. Valiant attempt from him. But they can't have much utility. You can't have too many nades, you can't have flashes, you can't be sitting too pretty on utility, which is what you need to breach these compounds. We might see teams forced to push into this. Just use the gun at their side. 10 seconds. Zuktan Nam and 7 need to move in.
Urban Chaos, I think, is the best way to describe this one. 7 with 2, Ents with 4, Zen with 3, Liquid with 3, and then Calvin Klein, the lone soldier. I'm not sure what you can do on your own against the mighty Ents when they're sitting right in front of you, but Rustamar is a solo. Zen, they go for the reposition. They're both in vehicles. How far they can get into this one, really all they need to find is a level of survivability on the edge of the circle. They have made it in, and they can use those, bank those vehicles together if they really wanted to give themselves an even more of a bolster into it.
This is what I was... Look at Squeaky. 4 grenades, 2 smokes. They still have so much utility to play off here. I don't think any other team particularly has that. So if they have to sweep and clear a building, they're the ones who have the ability to do so.
I like how they've left Rustamar on the back as well, just to watch out for a sneaky entry point, or maybe the old snake or two. There is a dink there, and it comes from Recrent. The initial grenades and the frags are going out. Recrent will continue the onslaught. Mikas is confirmed. Smokes are up as 7 try to make their approach, but Tulin doesn't quite get it, but does enough damage. He moves a little bit more durability, still continuing the battering though. And that's a problem for 7. I think that's where they make their last stand. Krabik is just holding on for dear life.
I don't know how long he can stand. He has made it pretty far forward, and still checking their backs, unsure as to where players are. And keep in mind, Calvin Klein still stands. He's worked his way forward here. Team Liquid still have players up. Unity focusing towards it. Nam, they might get away with this one. They've worked a little bit further forward. They have players in here. So again, they're doing the best they can with the situation. 6 teams in a circle like this. Oh my word, this is going to condense again.
Quiet on the western front for now. Liquid, they'll take the east side of the circle. Unity, they're on the west. 1 player 7, hell of a job to get into the circle now, especially when you have Orange Snow staring down the barrel. Zen, they made a very ambitious run, which got them inside the zone. Ents need to be aware. Rustamar, the lone solo at the back, needs to regroup with the rest of Ents. You need strength in numbers here because this is basically now peep and creep. Who sees who first? Urban Chaos through the windows. Ends, they found Unity. Recrent with the M24, looking for a face or two. It comes to a point now where you whip out these snipers and you try and take utility away from them. Get a pick, do the helmets, remove the chest armor. Get these teams as weak as humanly possible because you're basically going to be in open ground just smashing the living crap out of one of the once this circle condensed. I don't know how far Zen can really get here. They will send the bike. There is a vehicle that's actually blocking the line of sight to Page. They might make it, taps off the back. He's going to be gone. Might get stolen. Yes, it does. Unity pick up a point. Zen, they get 2 bodies in the circle. But really, you're in open ground. You've got 3 teams staring down the barrel at you. That's a dirty little angle. If he taps one of these helmets, that's going to be bye-bye. What a smidgen of a gap. Don't bother leaving that, Vasco. He's going to see your shoulder, my friend.
Yeah, this is... Zuktan Nam just needs to survive, and they are praying that those shots do not ping through the underneath there, and they're very lucky that they're not as we speak. Let's look at this one. Let's look at the repositions from these teams. So Ents are taking the time. Rustamar is your last man there. He is your kind of warning signal if anyone's behind them. He hasn't spotted anything out. He's crept up. They have 3 in this one. Unity have found the last man from 7. We're down to 4 teams. You know exactly where all of them are. This goes right in the middle. Now, who gets the ground to work from ENCE? The problem is they've got water. They'll move slowly. They'll be trickier to traverse out of it. Team Liquid have the eastern side, and they have Gemty in a nice spot. Unity, almost in the similar position. Zuktanam, you've got an open field and a hope and a prayer.
The biggest danger point here is the fact that you've still on AB. You've got
That's
this
it.
Groza. Oh God, as I say it, you have this Groza that has taken essentially center point on the back of it to keep ENCE in tick. What you can really do against this gun is very limited.
Gemty's angle is so good
James is
here.
all 3'd up though, so he can get up close and personal and basically just be a bouncer towards them, stare down the barrel and drill them on arrival. Unity, actually, Batulin's made a really ballsy play here and got himself further into the circle to keep an eye and a tab on Zen. Squeaky does go down, Rustamar follows, ENCE, the first ones to probably fall in this fight. Unity's positioning has been fantastic. Zen will try and answer back with a grenade, but Gemty, remember, don't forget about him. He's in the back lines, keeping a tab on all this, feeding this information to Team Liquid.
Yeah, this is a big information game as well. Gemty now spots out both of them. Good spray towards Page. Rustamar bleeds out, not surprising. Tripoli is your last man alive for ENCE, but he's taking down Recrone with him at the very least. Going to be a real nuisance to Unity as he works his way forward. Trifeli, how many steps can he take? They're still focused towards Zuktanam. The revive comes in, but the blue's got to be so close to them right now. Gemty needs to move up as well. James got a central position. Very smart play from him. 10 kills comes in for Team Liquid. Ibi doing damage, and these nades are landing close to Unity now.
Trifeli trying to do whatever he can. This blue will hurt so badly.
So will that nade.
No one there, but a warning shot comes out, so they have at least the information on his location. They will still keep going down. Ibi, though, while all this was going on, pushed up.
Nice angle from Page as well, delivering towards the remainder of Unity. They're kind of being third party, but look at Page, creeping forward. Gemty finds Trifoli, that end's gone. We're down to 3. Zuktanam, we have Team Liquid and Unity. Unity are a little broken and beaten here, and Ibi's position is perfect. He is just over the ridgeline. If he hears a shot from Zuktanam, he will pounce. And that's what he's waiting on. We're waiting for them to be forced further forward. So many snakes in the grass now. So many nades being put through the final smokes. All that utility, the first couple of bullets come out from Page. And now surely you'd expect the rest of Liquid to swing on it. They have. If he's found one, it's surely going to be Liquid's win here. Unity goes down. Gemty spots out Page. Page, how long can you stand in this? You found one. Page is going off on their own. Big play, but it's not big enough. It's Team Liquid. And of course, nothing more fitting than in Watertown to do it. They just flood the rest of the teams.
James jumps in with a level 3 gear at the end, and the Groza finishes the job. 4 wins on the board for Team Liquid. And once again, it's not without an absolute ton of kills to boot as well. Good God, can anybody stop the European powerhouse? The horses at the moment, they are just charging full force across this kickoff cup.
That was so well played out in the end. You look across the board, though, you look at the other teams. Unity played it really well to hold on that late. You look at ENCE. You look at Calvin Klein. You look at these teams, all these teams who are able to push that far, held on. They were literally clutching at straws to find room in those circles. That was very, very brutal.
Fantastic work from the final player. I didn't catch his name from Zuktanam at the end to clean up 2 points, I believe. He denied one because that blue zone hurts. And if that player had crawled away from him, it would have been taken away. Depending who actually got the knock, it was Liquid. It may have been an instant steal. He then picked up the second player as well. So some nice points on the board, decent placement, especially when they're down. I think it was in 11th place. So depending how Unity have been sat in that one, they still might be out of the top 8. But we keep talking about it time and time again. Honestly, like, this is basically Liquid server.
Yeah, it is.
You have to pay rent, well. You can do whatever you want. We're all just having the privilege of playing in it and living in it. But how their position is, it's insanity. Like, you saw at the end, 2 players, they realized where ENCE were. So they took the level 3 guy, been James, geared up, Groza in hand, and they positioned him at the back of the building and said, okay, well, you go take up residence here. He just looks out and focus fire on everything. The smokes go up. While all this is going down, Ibiza just crawls around them all and just puts himself in such a position that nobody can do anything.
The thing is, and I think you're spot on, it is their positioning. that is the impressive thing. Okay, let's say the circles work in their favor every now and then, great, they'll capitalize on it, but they also just play the micro rotations incredibly well and the kind of nuanced play of understanding so many of the crossfires and how to make it uncomfortable for the opponents. If you watch the way they play, they hold angles that complement each other and then make it uncomfortable for other teams. It's very, very good to watch, and it's not just their mechanical ability. I'd say a lot of the other teams currently within that top 10 have incredible mechanical ability.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone can frag out here. It's the choices they make, it's the positioning they take that makes all the difference. I hate to say it, and I don't like to bring up other games that much, but they literally are playing like the Astralis in Counter-Strike, whose legacy is untouchable right now. They're playing a similar game. It's not just the firepower, it's not just an individual, it's the whole team, and it's how they approach it as a collective that is making them the scariest team to watch right now.
I think a few of the teams need to go away and take a look at what they're doing. I mean, you see time and time again, straight away off the bat, the first ones to always rotate. And generally, even when we saw the initial knock come out in the middle of the field, there was still a player to jump out of a car, get
Straight
the frag, and instantly pick him up, keeping them all alive. Like, it's just, it's insanity, and they are absolutely on fire.
They are. So let's hear from them now. James down with the interview.
Yes, I am here with James, getting the final kill shot, jumping up in the air with the Groza, firing onto his enemy there. Phenomenal game from you guys, Team Liquid. So, Sunken City playing a major role in the victory. I want to say you guys utilizing it in interesting ways. Let's talk about you guys at one point had all four corners of Sunken City, kind of like a spider trap almost. You want to kind of break down the reasoning behind that?
Yeah, it was Circle 4, I think. Sunken City was the middle. We kept every corner because we were alone at that time. As soon as people started crashing it, we just went in on them and took them out one by one, and then we fell back after that.
Yeah, a lot of teams actually kept using that Sunken City, and you guys were popping off. Losing one, though, in the process, so you guys were a three-man for the majority of the game. And then we saw you guys take up a position south of Sunken City. Why was that?
It's just because that garage building has a lot of, like, you can see a lot from it. It's high ground, sort of, and we knew the circle was going to end, like, outside the garage. So we didn't have any enemies on the garage, so we could just hold people from there, and then we could sweep around in the late game and clear people out.
So you guys were pretty confident that the circles were going to continue shifting south compared to north?
Yeah, because Circle 8 shifts out of water, so, and there's a little bit of water in Sunken City.
And then we were backstage, Froz, he was like, oh, James, you need to climb up the tower, the antenna tower. Why didn't you do it?
I really want to do it for the memes. It would be a greedy play, but it would also be a play that probably could get us a lot of kills. But it's really greedy. If I go down, going up those stairs, we might not win the game because we're already down to 3 players.
So that was the main fear on why you didn't, because you would have gotten, sighted on the transition on up there. So any other plays during this game in particular that you want to kind of break down on why, was important for the victory here?
I just think we held our part of the Sunken City good. We had the garage, we had those 2 double white houses. When we saw the last star circle, we sent me and EB to the 2 double houses to hold off the teams in the north. I think it was ENCE and Unity. We held them off, then we fell back in time, and yeah. That's it.
One more chicken, you feel it?
Yep.
All right, James, thank you for that, man. Hopefully we'll get another interview with you and your squad. That's Team Liquid getting another chicken dinner here at the Kickoff Cup.
It never ends! We have another Team Liquid win. Unbelievable. As out of 7 games, they have got themselves 6 podium finishes, 4 of which are first place. Frost, save me! What is going on? Team Liquid just keeps winning and winning and winning and winning.
They are actually just setting themselves up for the wins all the time. We saw that when Circle 4 was about to pop. Everyone thought, all right, this is either going to go hard north or hard south. That's not the case because of how the land ratio works. Now, because of that, Liquid knew, all right, this could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And they set themselves up in the middle, making sure that we can go anywhere it's needed to.
Well, actually, that Phase 4 shift actually was one of the most interesting we've had in a long time, right, Avenger? Because we were theorizing where that circle's going to go, etc., and things like that. However, there was so much water still left in that circle that it had some hard decisions to make.
And also, I mean, how deep the water is and everything, but this is one of my favorite endings, actually, because the water town is so rare that the players are not used to how to play it around, so they maybe don't know the kind of the terrain and how to play around it. Suiktanaam actually took some good decisions going into the later stages of the game with some of the rotations they made, and they actually played that really well.
But also in Wartown, not all the players are always, they don't always know.
Ну, куда он прокнет круг, наверх или вниз, когда он был разделен рекой, да, и вот как раз авангард сначала заехали вверх, потом пришлось ехать вниз, ну и в конце тоже вот эта зона с Венецией, не самое простое место. Но начиналось все с того, что у нас команда Face.
They've got boards across them. You're able to kind of walk over, traverse. As you say, some are barricaded down. And as we saw some of these fights on the edge, again, very difficult decisions for some of those teams towards the edge. That's the land down below Watertown is kind of pretty flat, aside from just a few hills here and there, Avenger.
Yes, indeed, and also I was going to talk a bit about Edelweiss with that. It's going to put him up there with them 249 spray. Got 2 kills from the NIP, but here in the end, what we saw, very nice push out from Unity, trying to get some of this angle here, but Liquid already, they were sure. They kept some of these nades, make sure they could keep this. Nice finish for Inns as well. They managed to get themselves some kills and managed to put themselves in there, and in the end, the push from Jeems and the aggressive kind of angle they got there, that was amazing to see.
Yeah,
I mean,
adjustment
also
very
now playing it
easily.
aggressively, coming out from the field there, making their way in there, and also taking out Unity. We saw that Unity had 2 players, they were just prone, while Page was just, Page and Varsku, they were just running around, and they were looking for people. They were actually looking to win the game.
And here are the points here from game at number 7. You know, boys, before this one, I was being hopeful. I was looking for that 1% chance of someone being able to topple the Team Liquid boys. I give up, all right? I've conceded. I've conceded 23 points coming in for Team Liquid. They already had like 95 points before even coming into this game here. And then they get another 13 kills and the chicken dinner. Just for the rest of this lobby, just catastrophic damage has been done to them throughout these 7 rounds. Team Liquid is absolutely destroying the Kickoff Cup.
I mean, they just want all the points for himself, right?
Yeah. That's amazing.
They're kicking everyone off.
That's wow. It's he's Danish. Anyway, Team Liquid and Zuktitnam here doing pretty well for themselves. Zuktitnam, of course, getting themselves a few kills to boot as well to try and push themselves up the standings. And they were before this in 11th place, Avengers. So getting themselves up to I think it's 7th place now. Not too bad.
They're going to be in the 7th place and have a total of 29 kills. But again, it's still so close. The whole the second place fight is just so open still that we're talking 6 teams within 10 points of each other, and it's just going to continue throughout tomorrow as well. We only have 1 more match to go today. It's going to be a wrangle, and it's going to go down to the last game who's going to get 2nd place, because now I will say we have cemented that Liquid, they're going to win this.
And they're going to keep going by the looks of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not stopping now. They want to see how many points they can actually rack up. Can they put up a new record here? I mean, let's be honest. Right now, they got as many points as 3D Max had in the group stage. And remember this, 3D Max had most points out of both of the groups.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had one of the days in particular that stood out to us beyond almost everything that may have occurred when it came to phase 1 of the PEL main pro league. Never mind contenders, of course, as they were able to do very, very well in that group stage there. So first, third, first, third, 16th, first. It's hit or miss. There was a lot of hits and just 1 miss with that 16th place.
There's 66 points ahead.
Yeah.
66. We're talking, that's what that's the amount of points you get in a good day with 5 games. And there's 5 games left.
Yeah.
And they're going to be playing the last 5 games.
There's 5 games left. Will any of the teams...
Yeah, I think they're going to be... Well, they could just go out and enjoy their evening. They could want this.
Will any of the teams get 66 points in the next 5 rounds? I don't know. I don't think so. It's very unlikely at this point.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of unlikely because of how the teams are playing it and how it's working out for the teams, because as we talked about in the pre-show, a lot of teams are either good on Erangel or Miramar.
Yeah.
And they're not good on both of the maps.
Yeah.
Which means that they are only accumulating points on one of them, and you're not going to get 66 points then.
No.
Very difficult for a lot of these teams to try and catch up in the slightest. As you say, maybe looking for a 2nd place here as the kind of almost the consolidation prize here for them. But I think the big question in everyone's mind now is truly how far can Team Liquid take this, because we saw what happened in game number 4 yesterday
Yeah.
when they looked comfortable and were trying to just have fun, play a game, frag out, do whatever they want. Anyway, gentlemen, it's time for a short break here, ladies and gents, and when we return, we have one more map to go. Team Liquid is making this their Kickoff Cup here. And also a huge thank you to DX Racer for joining us here for the PEL Kickoff Cup and also for the PEL moving forwards in 2019 as well. Join us after this break here when we have more PUBG action coming your way.
Like 6 times a week, so we had one day off. So that's basically 5 games a night, so that's what, 30 games a week basically. And right now we haven't been able to scrim as much because we've been traveling back and forth, going to PL, going to London and coming to Kickoff now. So but we plan to start getting more scrims again, going into phase 2 and we get the house and stuff. So yeah, like I think all of us plays quite a bit actually individually, like we play face it.
Good grammar and spelling are important, but if you want to write essays
4, 6, 8 hours a day, I think most of the practice right now is the individual practice, I would say, from all of us.
Since we moved into the gaming house recently, we usually play some Face-It games and then some scrim games. So probably around 5-6 hours a day, a little bit more.
We try to scrim almost every week, like every day of every week. But we also depend heavily on having individual training. But most of the time, the scrims are from Monday to Friday. Individually, I would say between 6 and 12 hours.
Yeah, we have a coach / manager / analyst. He kind of does it all for us. Basically, we are kind of the team where if we feel like we need help in some aspects of the game, we kind of turn into him and like ask like what we could do differently or like what other teams are doing, or we don't really do the coaching way the other teams are doing. Like they always have a coach giving the input for them, but it's rather like we asking for him to help if we feel like we need it.
Oh yeah, we have Frolicker here. That's gonna help us for the Kickoff Cup. He's gonna be our coach. Frolicker goes through VODs. He analyzes the other teams, checks what player does what, where they drop, stuff we can work on, and basically just the hard work that we don't have time with since we're playing scrims. He's gonna be our coach. Frolicker the other teams.
Gatka somewhere, but I really would like Ruins. I love Ruins. I think it's good fun. It kind of forces people into those kind of close quarters fights. That makes me happy.
It's wonderful when you see the nades going, when they lob them in the air nades, and it's just a missile that comes down from the opposing side. They cook it, lob it up, like we saw yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Vert nades are so fun to watch. It's something you have to be aware of, because you know, with it being that high, with how high the nades will be going, as soon as they touch down, you're dead. There's no running from them, so you have to be aware and watch out.
I like it.
It's good
We'll
fun.
see.
It's good fun.
We shall see. Any changes in drops? I'm seeing Besiktas taking over Watertown.
This kind of happened last time. They were stuck between all the teams, but it was the fact that Liquid went a little bit earlier, which kind of boxed them back in. I'm hoping the circle isn't a repeat of last time, and we go maybe somewhere weighted towards Gatka side in the west. There is the fields. We've seen those field endings. There's a little radio tower or an aerial tower, what do you want to call it, just in there. That's been fun. You can hunker down and take up the plateau. We've seen many teams follow the demise of the Hill. You can call it whatever you like. Everest, Georgia Paul Hill. I've heard a few names in NA as well. They do a different version, but
North American calls. You just can't take them
I'm sticking with
seriously.
Everest. What are you saying?
Well,
Georgia Paul
mountain.
Hill? Just a big mountain.
Yeah. To be fair, the one thing we're just going to talk nonsense, but back in the day, the one thing when I used to play competitive games a long time ago, the NA teams always had this really smart idea of doing like almost single syllable, or as short words as possible for any calls to make them as clean and like clear as possible, as quickly said. So it was things like earth, wind, fire for like a building, like first floor, second floor, third floor. Like EU, we explained it a little bit more, but I always like that. I like the idea of it. It's smart, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of these teams are already implementing that. So these guys have been playing games for so long. You know, you look at these guys; they've played it since Arma days. I mean,
they do it in South George. I remember seeing. Remember the old Kingwin roster?
Yes.
I remember seeing that. Well, see their notes. They showed me their notes. They had call-outs, and they've stuck with it to now. Like the back six, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's simple as that.
Nice.
And they keep it small, fast, condense. And the quicker you can say something and give the information, then fair play. Being able to say a number and pinpoint exactly where they're going to be.
I always think it's really cool. I genuinely, and I think because we play so much of Erangel, we see so many of the kind of hotspots that come out, and especially Miramar as well to a degree. A lot of the buildings, the specific buildings, start to have these sort of names attached to them, whether it be player names or because of something happens. I always think it's really cool to see the progression throughout it, and obviously it happens by just simply playing this game so much, you start to see that come through.
Ibi has his own. They literally call a position in Pachinki Ibi, and it's the back quadrant of houses just next to the garage. Quite funny. Fuzzface was streaming not so long back, and he says, "Gonna go Ibi." Drops down. Who kills him?
Ibi.
Literally murdered him with a gun. It's so funny.
That's brilliant.
So funny.
I do like that. I really, really do. It makes me happy. It makes me a happy person seeing that sort of begin. The next thing I'd like to see is, I know we got the OMG stuff put into Miramar. I want to see, you know, like in CS, they have like the sprays on the walls, like that nade. I still want to see something.
Yeah, there's so many options, right? You could have 4 tombstones.
Yeah, it's something
You could
cool.
have a box. You could have his name there. Or
It doesn't have to be super obvious, but it'd be awesome.
Lee
to
said
like
you
come
could
across
literally
it.
have 17 flowers in a circle.
That would be pretty cool. Also look like you're summoning some sort of demon.
It needs to be immortalized. It has to be. That nade was heard around the world.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see it. I really would. Something subtle. It doesn't have to be like super in your face, but I'd really like to see it. Anyway, we are starting to see the teams on the rotations. Nothing to report as of yet.
Speaking of Brendan, double drop. Calling double. I don't know why I'm singing like that.
I was about to say, are you okay?
It's been a long day, and Liquid, as if they didn't need upgrading anymore, they're going to be gifted 2 crates. There's 2 players there.
Zen Nam aren't far from this either.
That's the same team which took that position early last time, right? Because they got involved with the third. You know what?
So, yes,
it's almost identical. You've got Ival on the back lines who keeps an eye on the 2 little towns or villages just over to the right.
Oh, Ibi's got a big gun. Oh, he's got potentially 2 big guns.
Imagine. Good God.
Yes. Delicious.
Give me. Share.
Look at the grabby little hands.
Take the 249, James.
Oh, that's very nice. I like that a lot. And there's just a car just wheeling in. Hello.
So this is almost the same position as before with Zuktanam just being in front of Team Liquid. But you know what?
Who's helping it? Stop helping Liquid. They don't need more. They're fine. They're fine as they are.
We did say it was their server after all. Good Lord. I mean, that's a care package in there. 2 players, 3 tiered up, a 249, and an own with a 4 times. as if they already weren't in the lead. Oh, and Samty's got a K9 as well, just a bit more range for you.
They're all sorted. What? I just would... A very weird thing on the map for a second. It's not actually real. For some reason on our map, James was in Zarka. I was like, he's gone very far.
Oh, now and again, yeah.
It does. It just bugged out for a second. Don't worry, everyone's giggling. We do see those early kind of back and forths. 7, Besiktas, Tornado Energy. Everyone's kind of centralizing to, like, no one's gone west. Obviously, it moves away from water, so you're looking at the vast majority of the water down the line. It's probably it's a smart choice. But there is just no one beyond, I guess, the Georgia Pole bridges. Everyone is just sat right in the middle, as central as they can get, and no one has gone down yet. This is minutes worth of a game with 0 casualties.
And players are almost in identical positions. The main difference, actually, I don't think I touched on it at the start. NIP did change up and did what I suggested in the previous round they would do. They went to Lepovka. This time, that's their backup drop. No one's there. You don't get the aggression and the pressure from the Knights, who like to usually kick it around mansion. So it's good for them. They're up in the north, just looting above. Transferring and driving around. Avanga and Ents are in the same spot. Liquid same spot. Besiktas. Who else we got? FaZe. This time they've opted not to go into Pachinki. Desperados are sat in the 2 farm buildings just to the east of Pachinki, overwatching everything and all the rotations they do come through. Unity, once again, last ones to the circle. This time they've not gone as wide and around Yasnaya. They're just down below it, outside of the fields of wheat.
I do. In the fields of wheat. Please, Teresa.
Brexit intensifies.
Please stop it. I get enough of that.
Oh, it's this. Oh.
We've got literally the same game. All right. It's unlikely to go exactly where it went before, but maybe it will, and it'll bring me deep, deep joy. We'll find out. All the teams in the north, funny enough, almost exactly the same teams, have to compress. NIP going to go on the long way around here. But really, everyone's committed to this already, apart from NIP, who went further around, which is nothing really to write home about. But all the teams in the north are going to move south. So Rozhok and south is just got... Still, no one's died. No one.
Really, it intrigues the living hell out of me how people are sticking to the same paths. Jokers, they've gone a little bit wider this time because FaZe basically just murdered them last time.
Oh, is this the first one?
Speaking of murder.
Could be the first death. It looks like it is. Vargo found it. Vard's gone down. That will be a run over, a pickup. First to fall is Vard.
And again, it's the same position. Okay, from a different trajectory into this one. Uh-oh, Ibby's got an arm. He's found a face. Can we have his POV, please? Because that could be some serious damage. Punishing from that green machine. NIP are rotating exactly polar opposite to where 3D Max.
They're pushing this. They're pushing it. Ibby's running this. They're pushing out of the compound, the ground they have. They want these kills.
That's disgusting bait. He's allowed NLT.
Oh, they're running up
Stop
at this.
feeding liquid, boys. Come on.
They don't know yet. They have no idea. 3D Max aren't that far off either.
He's got
a nade. Please, let's go to Ibby. Please go to Ibby. Please, 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 please. I'll pay you to go to Ibby. Yes, yes, yes. Nade. Nade is a little short, but it sent them scattering, because look who's turned up. It's the farmer with the gun. Ibby is about to unleash fury.
He's melting them.
Has just flooded them. Northern Lights have fed the beast, and it is not a pretty sight. The Jokers, though, could third party. There is potential. Team Liquid are aggressive, and this is the scariest thing with this team when they start feeling the game.
They don't care anymore, do they? They just don't care. They can also leave him to bleed out. For the simple fact they've got the knock, so the point will go Liquid's way regardless unless someone steals it. There you go. The bleed out comes through. 3 points in the bag.
Where is the other Northern Lights player? Oh, he's miles away. Quizzy is a million miles away.
I think he just run is like, well, this is not good when Ibby's just running at me with 2 level 3 guns, or crate guns if you want to call them. I'm going to evacuate the situation immediately.
So Ibby does have both guns, doesn't he? He didn't share them out.
He's been greedy. I'm okay with it. At least he left where he could have gone and dropped level 3 gear in the trees and come back for it and picked up the ones and just, never mind, just been silly. Avanga, this time, are going to find a different entry point. They're just below Yasnaya.
Yep.
Unity, again, not as high up this time. They're more on the eastern flank. FaZe Clan, you cop for it on screen. They've been upgraded as well. They've got a crate, so 3 crates already in play. It's going to be Fuzzface by the looks of it from the map. Desperados will keep them at bay, though. They've gone for a very 1-2-1 split, taking full ownership of that field just outside of Pachinki. Jokers are hoping it kind of goes their way. Zen have committed again to the same position as before.
God, NIP over here. 3D Max were over here before last time, weren't they? Or did they go somewhere else?
Now you got
so
me
I
thinking.
think a Vanguard were over there, weren't they? They came through the ruins, and then 7 were ahead of them. It's not far. It's not far. It's not exactly the same, but it's not far. It's pretty close. It's not far.
At least enter across the road this time early.
Correct.
Different teams in Watertown. You got Besiktas there, 7 as well. Franco Rio, I apologize for saying your name wrong all week. Him and Erki. I know, don't worry. I'm aware of it. I'm writing these things down. Ents going for a slightly early adjustment. I like this from Ents. They're pulling out of Rozhok because no one's there to come down from the mountainside and from the north. They know it's clear. So by doing this, they extend their arms, reach into the circle. Taking up that Watertown position, I say Watertown, excuse me, Water Tower position, is so critical in giving them basically central access to the circle, but more importantly, so much viewership. Full 360 vision from up on that Water Tower. 2 players will stay back in Rozhok just to cover the lines and watch if anyone wants to try and enter from behind. I'm fine with it. Leave them there. Go for the 2-2 split. School, again, DA still got it locked down. Having a better game.
He has to be careful. Gets away from Na'Vi. I was a bit worried if he'd swung a second later. You can see the state of the car.
They're slightly different, aren't they? Na'Vi, in fact, no, Na'Vi are also in the exact same position.
Na'Vi is still around that area.
It's FaZe that have kind of kicked them out of Potato Hill a little bit further down. Maxi will have to run this line. There's not much he can do, in my opinion, because FaZe are also waiting with open arms just to the south of where he'll be heading. Unity, though, going for a hard push here, Lauren. We can see it on the map. You might be able to see it on screen rather shortly.
Just sending it in between Digital Athletics. Those shots coming up are against them. Na'Vi have spotted out the FaZe clan. They're looking their way, but we see Unity have made it, but only into the loving arms of Ents. The Finns from above will do the damage. Sadovnik goes down. That is a big no on the route of can we get here? It is indeed a no. Fuzzface found Senya. That's a big fragger lost for Na'Vi.
Why are Unity committing to this? I'm still seeing them moving here. It was actually 3D Max who was down that before the pull-ups there, though. Uber, M4, red dot, leans to the left-hand side. Unfortunately, gets caught off guard, though. But splitting between 2 teams, that's Na'Vi and FaZe from the backlines. That has basically just helped out FaZe clan. So the off angle does cost them. They'll be able to get the revive, I would have thought.
Now, Maxi's still alive. To get back to Uber's a little tricky, but they should be able to do it. Team Liquid on the move. They found out 3D Max. 3D Max were moving around the western side. Team Liquid do have 2 players here. The other 2 are slightly split further apart, but not by much. Vargo has been a big name as well. Don't forget that at all. Fire comes back in. Finally, Liquid catch a glimpse, and that's all they generally need. Nades could be next. This is a very dug-in position for 3D Max. Hard to peel and pry them out of it.
Liquid just need to be careful they don't get kicked from behind because Besiktas have an eye line on this, and NIP are holding it down in ruins. Don't forget about 3D Max. Before they were where we just saw Unity fall, they were crushed into a corner and backed up against cars. Noki will try and go for the reposition, but Samti does have a read on this. Again, I'm just casting off that map.
It's an eastern swing. We've got a new circle. Just a lot of field.
Do it.
Bang it out, Samti.
It happens now and again.
Boop. No.
And when it does happen, good God, is it beautiful to win this.
So Team Liquid on foot, on the move. They're moving in. Joker's sending it right now. Moon is leading the way. Deez, Ralmosh, and Tab following behind. Zukta Nam is taking shots on the way. We see Liquid now joining on the fight. Besiktas in the north as well. Jokers have pulled up into a bit of a terrifying situation, but Team Liquid need to get them gone. NIP are just behind 2 of them. This is going to be a bloodbath in the west. Tab on the drive, on the run, trying to make it to safety. Gets to at least obscure some of the vision behind that hill, but Gemty's already found one of them. Mini unleashes, does not want to outstay his welcome. He knows there's going to be teams in ruins, and Besiktas to the north. You may not confirm these kills, but they don't really care about the points right now, Liquid. They can just free farm their way forward.
Na'Vi may have just picked up a point, sees Orange Snow out in the open from Unity, and I think he might even be in an unresable position because he was down the hill, basically at the wit's end of ends. Pokemolodoi again does confirm that one, so that's the one I was talking about. The bleeds out there. There is no response. Liquid will be turned up to the fight, though. We've got the Joker just over the hillside. 7. They are blazing into school. Try and get in the window. If you do, it'd be fantastic. Jumps off either way. The breach is here. The clear might be a different thing altogether. The vehicle will give them a line of defense. Samti's pulled up. Ibby's gone down. They've lost all of that crate gun utility now.
But
it's handed over to the Jokers, but the Jokers, look how damaged they are. Samti goes down as well, and that's because you've basically got Zukta Nam and Tornado Energy with such line of sight from the central of the circle. they can open up on all teams in a 360-degree angle.
Yeah, Team Liquid are certainly not out of it yet. Jeems and Gemty are still alive, but they're being held out in the west. They weren't able to move up as quickly. And you are seeing Digital Athletics trying to keep back 7, who are knocking at the door. The revive's coming in, but you're going to see these nades starting to flood out. Sixmo did find Frank. He can no longer help. He cannot hold back the side anymore, but is there a response? And one of them going to push out? Are they being cautious, being careful? I can't tell. Cars galore, smokes are up, 7 is inside, and back he goes down. Buster breaks through, sprays in to confirm what he began, gets to cover, but there's Crab. One more player comes around, Mert's there, he trades it back out. We are seeing a huge invasion, and the Digital Athletics have been eliminated. Buster just destroyed them.
That's an unfortunate low position for DA. Yes, they may be in 4th position, you can see on your screen, but look at how close those scores are. Down to 10th place, it's just 10 points. One win would solidify that and cause a big old jump up for those at the bottom. Besiktas now need to hold point because NIP, they've made their way through Sunken City and they're going to be knocking at the gates, knocking at the door. Besiktas do have the only compound on the side of Venice, Watertown, whatever you want to call it. There's a million one names for that place. But they can basically just hold and pin NIP back. But we can't rest on NIP. They're a damn good team. And it wouldn't surprise me if they had about 16 billion nades between them as well to make a full assault onto this compound. The smokes are initially going to go out here. So this is them just basically boxing off the windows so that Besiktas do not know which approach, which angle they'll be coming from.
That bike's on fire. The
That grenade
bike's
is
on
too.
fire, the nade is closed. It
Stolen!
doesn't matter, it was stolen!
Yoink. Oh, that's a shift.
Northeast shift. School is in. The field to the west is in. The touch of the Roshawk Hill is still potentially in as well. We'll be keeping on tabs with that as the Desperados start their push to the east. FaZe Clan between them. NIP are moving up. They're about to breach compound. We're going to have fights absolutely everywhere. Desperados are knocking on the door of FaZe. They are literally next to each other. Besiktas are holding firm as best they can. Pokemolodoy keeping teams busy, but you can see the Desperados there. They're working forward. They're being meticulous. They're being careful. But Na'Vi are the final beasts. They're in the circle. They hold the line right now.
But let's not forget this circle. If you do play this game regular, you understand the topography. Basically, from school to where Tornado Energy is, it's just no man's land. It's dead open zone. Nothing. You get one hill just outside of school, which 7 will play off the back
There's that FaZe fight. Uber's already found them. Fuzzface is there. It's 80 finding them. Desperados swept up. They could not find the FaZe Clan. So I'm not sure how many of those revives could come in. I think they're going to get stolen. They are. Here's the engagement. MBS catches Besiktas on the run. Lux can no longer escape. Na'Vi continue to hold that line. No one gets behind them, in front of them or around them. Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Oh, no! I just saw that! Oh, it's gone so wrong for FaZe.
Everyone's
Uber.
on the move. Those up to now have made it into the circle, out of their compounds
Uber
where they were.
just-
Besiktas now making their approach as well. Trifeli's there, though. Besiktas might have the fight of their life from Trifeli up on that hillside. FaZe, they do make it into the circle, but unfortunately they die as soon as they do that. Mexi, last man standing, and now will be thrown to Na'Vi. 3 players looking directly at him. I mentioned Besiktas. Trifeli's position is so devastating for them because he basically holds the angle. Bestelok puts the nail in the coffin for FaZe. They're out 12 position. Liquid, how in God's name have you done this? They've made it to school. They send it from the polar opposite end of the circle, and they're alive and kicking inside a compound. In what world are we living? How do they survive that entire gauntlet of teams just looking down at them?
I could not tell you, but that's a nade and a half. Crab just backs it off the window ledge. Gemty has to run. And look at this, they're reading the nade so well here. Quizzy is just about alive, but for how long? Tomel stops Trifeli. Quizzy gonna trade it. He's gonna get back into this. Besiktas are finding it harder to stay alive. The trade came back out though. He went down to the blue, but you can see everyone fighting tooth and nail to just chip, find an angle to get in this circle, ends are suffering casualties.
That's a huge kill. To track out Trifeli from that position basically allows them an entry point to this circle that can hunker down in this ditch for now. They've got the vehicle to play off the back of. They know for a fact they can't go north. As soon as they go up onto that ridgeline, either Unity or End sees them, they're dead to rights. Held at gunpoint by Zen as well. Besiktas is in a terrible position. Circle, updates. We're going central. We are going to no man's land. The strongest point at the moment, it's going to be school. It's going to be where we're looking from the swimming pool. you'll see these players from 7, they're just going to eyeline this and look across.
Crab's got an orb and a whole lot of bullets to kind of go into that too. He's very well geared here, so I'd be a bit worried. And they're going to consolidate forces in towards the swimming pool room. That entire building, that's theirs. Liquid are going to take the other side with merely 2 players. They're not exactly going to be hyperactive in this. You've got to look on the extremities, on the outskirts, because that's where the crunch is. Rich, you said it is no man's land because there's very little territory here. There is almost no cover in this. There's very few hills to play off. There's bits and pieces, and they're fighting over scraps.
Ence's attention has been turned to Unity, I believe, which gives a bit of an opening here for Besiktas. Maybe Squeaky has the info. He does. Grenades initially up and over. No tag off the back of it. Never mind, the gun does the job. Rustamar sits him down. Ultra holding on for dear life. They move up into 10th position. They have been battered on arrival. And all of a sudden, why the hell not? Squeaky, job done. Ultra Besiktas.
Na'Vi sending it, Rich. They're trying it. Jeez! That is perfection with the mini. It may get stolen, but it was a great bit of play. 7 are racking up the kills. The Team Liquid started the breach from Zuktanam towards the compound in the south has gone poorly. They've been losing out on players. Tornado are here, 3D Max are here. The push from Ents trying to sweep into the circle went poorly for Rustamar. He met Unity. And now Zuktanam trying to get off a heel, trying to stay alive. There's very little to be had here. Oh my God. The nade is so good from Melman. And Page has just seen his teammate get completely destroyed. And Compot is close by. You can imagine that's going to come through. Crab trying to get in on this one with that orb from range.
Zen have just been completely broken to pieces. They make their approach from that lower tower. Down they go, and now 3D Max, the next one. They're inside, though. They have something to play with. Look at this, just the death squad. Tornado Energy roll through them and allow them an entry point into this circle. This plateau now just becomes a fight of 2 angles. You need to be careful you don't extend too far up north, because then you'll open yourself up to the angles of what Unity will hold in the north. Avanga Snoopy, Christ now is alive, but he is. He's on the wall of school, so for how much longer is a different question.
Squeaky's been tagged.
And he's dead.
I think we've got a little bit of respite for a second. 7-team stand, 16 players. The nades from 3D Max are getting closer and closer. They're going. It's go time. Nades come in. They're good. They are very good. Tornado gets decimated by 3D Max as the south is now theirs. But for how long? Unity can see this, as can 7. Na'Vi have a remainder. That is a doozy, but Team Liquid have moved out slightly. They've already adjusted a touch here. I never know what Team Liquid are up to, but they seem to have such a good read on these things. And we have a bit of a school ending as well.
Mortar Strike comes in and 3D Max survive. What the hell was that? That's a... How does he even know that angle?
That's so good. Gemty has just taken out their Danger Man. That was the Orm. That was the level 3s. That's a lot of presence now gone. That is a big presence.
The thing is, he's been allowed to get to that point because 7's so focused on the circle and picking up kills, they're not watching from behind. So Liquid's been allowed to press that wall. They've gone for the 1-1 split. Gemty getting to that has kind of thrown everything that was 7 trying to build. A spanner well and truly into the works. They're going to be focused on teams out in the open, easy points. But that's been taken away from them. The Orm's done, it's dead, and there's 2 players alive.
3D Max are just working their way through in the middle of the open. This is no man's land. There is very little cover here. They are fighting for the smallest of territory again. The smokes are keeping them alive. Unity could destroy this. Unity could rack up point 7, will not stop firing. Buster finds Phantom. In the meantime, Team Liquid will be looking to find an angle on them, but there's Unity coming in. They're racking up the kills. They get the... Noki just pulled off a 360 to get into cover. At least he's got some style, but he's watched his whole team just get slaughtered.
And Unity... For them, this could be some easy points. Speaking of easy points, Jeems does confirm 1, or at least that's another knock onto 7. Wait a minute, 7 have fallen at the wayside. So that's only 1 player alive now inside pool, and they're making a push on it, Lauren. I can see this on the map.
If they want to win this, if they want to be proactive, they have to take this building. Snoopy could be a spoiler. Do not forget, he snuck in there as well quite late game. I think the time is now passed for Team Liquid. They can't flex towards that. Noki could play spoiler here as well, potentially, if Unity do not go together. Spotting a doozy could potentially hinder this. They might have to peel away and focus on him, or just kind of get their plan in motion because they can't take this lightly anymore. They know there's a player down here. But committing to that angle could be a problem. But with Na'Vi going down, it's game on. Noki knows he could be in trouble now as Unity. They don't know it's a doozy he's gone down, but they should do soon.
Finally spots him.
He's whipped the angle.
This is wobbly.
Oh, finally stuck it, but that was not a pretty display.
Squeaky bum time, but he still gets the kill regardless. K9 in hand, so a little bit of range here to work with. dependent where this circle will go. Doesn't really go anyone's way apart from the people that'll be playing the wall of school.
Yeah, but Liquid aren't in the most ideal situation in a way, because Snoopy's going to have to push up. Seven still have cover. So they have to kind of play into their hands slightly, but we know the Team Liquid will make a plan in mind. There has to be something that they can achieve from most of this one. They have to think this one through. They have to get past one of these teams. If they are unaware of Snoopy, he could be a real nuisance because he could just play this out late. Unity, sure, they've got the attention of everyone, but if they have a little dip or a deflate to get to, just slightly, even just prone up there, they can wait this out.
They'll have the trees to maybe deny some kind of loss.
10 seconds, Rich.
There's
It's
that
go
tiny
time in school.
plateau, but as you say, Snoopy's the one that we have to keep an eye on because he could damage both of these rosters.
Where's James going?
I think he'll go down low because everyone's up high at the moment. You do have these back. Oh, Buster isn't. Good God, I didn't know he'd here.
Yeah, Buster's outside. Buster could potentially find Snoopy.
Oh,
I think he's seen Snoopy. He doesn't know what he's seen yet. Battlegrounds gets a tag or two. That's not too much of a threat just yet. They still need to work forwards. They're just trying to keep people away from that wall. That's their plan. Right now, we need to just be looking at school. Recrin finds Edelweiss. It's go time. That's the overpeak. James has to push this, and he knows it. He's already in the building. He's off. Buster is still completely tunnel visioned on Snoopy. He has no idea who's here. Now there's a player inside. Snoopy's a threat. Where do you look? Where do you run? He finds Snoopy, but he's shown his position. James has a nade in hand. That's gone down to clear the angle. And it's go time. Unity have taken the advantage while it was in their hands. Excellent play from them. Buster has got a great position too. He's working that wall, but do they know this? I think they do. I think they might have a good idea that he might be outside that wall. How well do they know this, and how many angles can they provide to see over that wall?
The biggest benefit that Liquid have is they have the level 3 gear, so they'll be able to take this fight one-on-one with this single-player Buster and take a few bullets and maybe respond. I love the play what Unity have done. While all this has been going down in pool, they've just run the open ground.
It's so smart. That was the best chance they had.
I can't believe that snipe he got. Christ alive, it was just a banger through the window, knocks him out. I mean, Seven essentially had the best position in this, right? They were looking at all these players that need to come, but they've been broken apart by several rosters. Smokes are up, it's go time. And it might be go time for Jempty. That's going to be a wake-up call. Puts him on red alert, hits the wall, but there's nowhere else to go, Lauren, but forward. He's down.
He can't do anything other than that. James, I think, knows where Buster might be, but still he has to play it slowly to ensure he's not still in the pool house. Jempty is down, and there's nothing to do to recover that. James is running out of utility, I'm pretty sure here. Buster has a couple more smokes, and look at Unity creeping forward. Recruit's still alive as well. Do not think he isn't, but a spot comes out from Buster. He fights one. James now surely knows where one is. Battlegrounds holds down again. This is all about timing. That's his final nade gone. He has one more smoke to put into play, and there it goes. He's being forced forward by the circle. Is he going for a last-minute revive here? He's trying to get Jempty back up.
That's so cheeky.
This is madness. He's on the verge of that smoke. He's being kept safe by one more. And they are back alive. Jempty is just going to be traded on. That's it. He's running just to allow for the trade, but James has too many targets. Surely he can't do this. Buster finds it. What? James just found one. It's still game on. He sprays it out of bullets. He can't do it anymore. And now the 1v1 begins. But it's all Recrin. Surely, no. What? Buster just found that, did he?
Yeah, he did. He knew exactly where he was from that initial engagement just a second ago. Turns on a pinhead, lands the one bullet between the eyes, and it's job done. Seven pick up the win. After so many second-place finishes, this is a beautiful ending to the last 2 days. James unfortunately runs out of ammunition as he takes that engagement. And you've got to think how weak that player across the road from him was. If James has had the ammunition there, he could have essentially won that. What a wild and wonderful ending to seal the day on game number 4. Holy hell, PUBG is just a roller coaster of emotions.
Good game. That was a very good game. Oh, what an ending. We've had some really nice circle endings here today. I've been happy seeing, a little bit of a switch up, some differences here and there. And between Unity and how they approach that, the shots that allow them to get into that position. Keep in mind, it should have been Seven's game, and it finally is. But Unity fought very hard to get themselves even close to that position.
I know Seven a team of the hour here, and that's fine. But I just want to really quickly just appreciate Liquid's achievement so far in the last 2 days. And I don't want to take this away from Seven, but so far, they've had 16th place, and everything else has been top 3.
Yeah. It's
disgusting.
It's brilliant to watch, and credit to them to pull that off on a regular basis. That's very impressive in PUBG. I think we all know that. For me, Seven's consistency stood out as well.
It's been good. It's been very good. They deserve that win after what they've been doing so far.
They haven't exactly been the headline star. Of course, Liquid's done that. But these guys, coming from a position that I did not expect to be looking at on such a regular basis, have come in and been consistent throughout group stage. And then, again, I doubted them in the finals, and they've, again, been consistent. They're a name that I think we can't overlook now, and they clearly have a very good mentality coming into this game.
Can we also appreciate this is a contenders team, by the way?
Exactly. That's the point of it. Like, these guys have come in and been consistent. We've seen one-off wins for other teams that, you know, may have been contenders, have pushed up, had a good group stage, but I didn't expect it against this caliber of team. The two groups, obviously, these are the teams that topped out in them, and they're still being damn good.
One player been able to clutch it out at the end as well. I mean, okay, Jeems had a hard-fought battle, and he did so much damage. Like, Unity, in my opinion, should have won that out. Yes. I'm surprised. Okay, and you kind of touched on it. It's actually a good point. Everyone at this stage in the game is running out of utility. They committed the grenades. It did the job, I suppose, against Jempty. But when you see him running out of ammunition, it's just so devastating to see. And again, thinking what could have been and what would have happened, because he was looking away from you, basically just had full vision of his body. It would have been dead to rights. And to be able to swing on a pinhead and take out that one player just on the opposing eye line to him, opposite him, to get the win, like, how weak was that player? How was his helmet? How was his gear? What was going on? Because he just shut him down instantly.
Yep.
But yeah, 4 different winners today. It's good. It's not necessarily a Liquid day, although they did well and picked up a win anyway. I think at this point in the game, and I don't want to ruin it, but we can almost safely say that the trophy's going to be theirs and the money's in the bag when all said is done yesterday, and everyone else is just kind of playing the money game. It's I think it's 4th down to 8th is the same, so we're looking for those 2nd and 3rd spots. But certainly for everyone who wants to get into the top 8, which is the money zone and the money grab, everything's open. Everything's going to be on the line. It's going to be very even in that middle pack as well.
Yeah, and it's a lot of CIS teams too.
Yep.
They're very much turning up, and not necessarily the ones that I thought either. So for me, I'm super excited to see it, and I think it's showing what caliber they bring to this. But I think that's enough from us. It's been an absolute pleasure casting so far, and we still have another couple of games to go, obviously, going forward. And there's still the NA Pro League kicking off too. That'll be good fun. That's later on. I'm sure the desk going to touch on that. Let's head over to the interview. We're done. We're going to go chill out. Enjoy it.
And taking a look at how other teams have actually played things out. Of course, we'll get a lot of chance to talk about Liquid here throughout the day. However, I want to talk about some of the other teams, Avenger, that did proudly with 7 to start things off. 2 second places on Miramar, 10 kills, 7 kills. Not as good on when it came to Erangel, but 7 with 2nd place on the board right now in terms of the standings. It's a little bit of a surprise, I think, to a lot of people.
Definitely. I mean, considering their performance in the contenders, they didn't overwhelm a lot compared to how well they've been able to do here.
Yeah.
And honestly, for me, I think 7 is definitely a contester going forward, because after Phase 2, we're going to have a promotion to go into the Pro League. There's going to be 12 contender teams that's going to be coming into a relegation tournament that is very likely to be similar to this in terms of how many matches we're going to see and sorts of this. So them being able to perform in a cup like this, coming out of group stages and everything, that's going to be very interesting going forward. And I definitely think they're one of the contenders to be going into the Pro League after the relegations.
What I like with 7 was that they played very clinical. Everything was so good on Miramar, but they couldn't translate that over to Erangel, and that's what I want to see from them. If they can do the same thing on Erangel as well, they're definitely going to grab themselves 2nd place in the Kickoff Cup here.
And that was where Team Liquid got themselves their 2nd chicken dinner with the 14 kills in round number 3. And let's take a look at round 4. We saw Team Liquid just decide to take a location and have fights, racking themselves up 18 kills throughout the entirety of this game. As you can see, they already started things off against Zuktetnam very strongly.
From a very early position, they already took the glass house that is north of the Western Bridge. They took that coming out of Pochinki very early, before the Jokers were even ready to kind of go to that position. Even they are the ones starting in that area, looting that. So they completely took everyone offhand, crossed the bridge quite quickly as well, took the small compound, or the compound area that is just south of that, and held that down and took so many fights and won all of them. And in the end, also being 4 guys alive was just so impressive.
And that was the 28 kills from their final game that they did secure. And that is as things went down yesterday, of course, here for the PEL Kickoff Cup Grand Finals. So, revolving the things around Team Liquid here for a moment as we take a look at the scoreboards. 83 points. Team Liquid sits firmly in 1st place, and that is 50 points ahead of 7. There were people on Twitter, there were some of the players on the other teams telling Team Liquid to calm down because they're taking all of the points. It's just crazy what we saw yesterday.
Look, 7 on second place, they didn't play bad yesterday. They had an average of 8.3 points per game. Now, that's not bad at all. But in the shadow of Liquid, it looks pretty bad, though.
It does. Unfortunate for everyone, Liquid did steal all of the kills, but it also means that the whole leaderboard is going to be open for today. The second place is up for grab. The whole top 8 is up for grabs. With one good game, Tornado Energy can instantly be into the top 4, the top 3, where the prize pool steadily increases as well. And you know what? I think definitely today is going to be different to what we saw yesterday. I don't think we're going to see Liquid continue as much. I definitely hope we're going to see absolute domination from them, but I don't think it's going to be as much. They're going to be playing a bit differently, I assume, because they just want to steadily secure that. I don't think they're going to be swinging around as much.
Very interesting comparison here between 7 and Zouk, considering they've done relatively similar amounts of damage. However, placement points a massive factor when it came to 7 being able to push themselves that much further in comparison to Zouk there.
Yeah, and it was all because of their second places on Miramar that they played there.
Yeah.
2 second places, that's really, really good. The thing was, when we went over to Erangel, though, they got 12th and 8th place. It didn't look as good when they were playing the game. They were playing a lot on the edge. They didn't get into the positions they usually get into, making sure that they could hold people out and so on.
I enjoy this graphic because it's Senya saying, day 4, they still think I'm a member of Team Liquid. just amidst the pack here, as Team Liquid looked oh so superior in our first day. James, Gemty, Samty, and Beats are truly deserving their spot up towards the top. And of course, we have 4 games coming at you today here. We will be starting on Miramar and then going to Erangel later on here to get things going. And again, when we look at Miramar, how we saw it play out yesterday, there were only 2 really big names that shone out. Truly, it was Liquid and 7 that were able to dominate. We did see Desperados getting themselves that win on the second game, which obviously kind of disrupted the whole Team Liquid going to be taking all the first places because they got 3rd place in that game.
Well, we also saw that there were 2 similar circles where they ended as well on Miramar. Desperado, they took advantage of that. They knew, okay, we looked on first game. This is how people work. This is how they rotated. Now, we want to counter that. They went early, got themselves a good position, and they played from there.
Yeah, and that being able to adapt from game to game is so important. And definitely, like Desperados, they did play extremely well. They didn't do the same on Erangel, even though we actually had a military game, and they are in one of the good spots to get into the military zone in a kind of early position compared to all of the others one. So I actually expected them to be playing better on Erangel than what we saw. Obviously, them being able to still do decent. They're still sitting up there. If they have a good start compared to today, they're definitely going to be still contending for that 2nd place.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of that rounds out exactly what we kind of think initially about coming in today. We're going to get still more chance to actually talk about some of these teams as well down the line here for the PEL Kickoff Cup Grand Finals, as we have plenty to get going here for day number 2. Let's head over to the stage with Mr. Mustache Dave to get the festivities started.
Number 2. Things are getting heated up here. Yesterday, Team Liquid getting 3 kills, Desperado getting 1 kill. Team Liquid 50 points ahead of 2nd place. Can any squad here today take those points back and shoot on up those leaderboards? We'll have to find out as we have 4 exciting games about to start right now. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to PEL Kickoff Cup. This is going to be a week of fierce battles. 16 best PUBG Europe League teams and 16 best PEL contender teams will clash for the ultimate prize. Final group.
Our 16 teams here ready to do battle for day number 2 of the PEL Kickoff Cup Grand Finals, and 15 of our teams are on the hunt. They are on the chase right now because one team has set a tremendous precedent coming into day number 2. There are still 8 games left to go, so still very much all to play for. And as I mentioned, the Predators here are going to have to look for Team Liquid and try and kill them off. Am I even wrong? Let's be honest. You are right there.
I mean, it's going to be hard for the teams to trying to get back up to where Liquid is. I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch up to them, even though we still have 2 days to go.
Pessimists, the both of you.
Well, let's be honest. Now, one day have passed by. We're going to have 2 more days with the same group here.
Yep.
All the teams, they had time to go home after yesterday, do some research, do some VAR reviews, getting to know how do the other teams want to play out. Now I want to see some changes coming in from the teams. 3D Max was one of the teams who did best in the group stage on Miramar yesterday. It was very poor results from them coming in, and I want to see that change coming into today.
I definitely agree there. They had a 14th place and 11th place with just 1 kill. They had 1 point after 2 games, and definitely with the pressure coming in after their performance in the group stages, that's definitely something I want to see improve as well. NLT as well, one of the teams, some of these contender teams there, they came here to prove themselves, and I want to see that continue in the grand finals. Obviously, this is a very stacked lobby, and it's going to be...
Wow.
Here's Hamza. He's ready for the games from Tornado Energy. But I definitely want to see these contender teams come in with the fierce kind of and aggressiveness as we saw from Samza here. I want to see that continue. I want to see that kind of flow over from the group stage into the grand finals.
I'll tell you something, I want to see more of that, my friend. That's what I want to see, some spark there. Tornado Energy Battle at the moment currently sat in 16th, but with some energy like that, they have the opportunity to maybe move up a little bit further. I would like to see them try and go back to the kind of aggressive close qualifier Minsk days to try and get themselves some more kills. It is tough in this lobby, of course, though. Very, very stacked lobby.
Yeah, I mean, it's super stacked, this lobby. But as Martin said as well, with Northern Lights, we saw him do something a little bit wild and crazy yesterday. They went for a breach in circle, like just before circle 2 popped.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that. I really love that aggression. Because when you're all aggressive like that, that gives you time to make a play on someone. You got the time to flank around. You got the time to put up a move on them. And no one's going to come and third party you because everyone's so spread out there in the start.
A doozy, old player from Red Diamonds, but now on Navi and these guys, last game yesterday, they were looking to be the Navi that we've all been looking for. 10 kills, 2nd place. Pestalodge was very unhappy with not winning that 1v1 versus Pizza.
First game in Erangel, yeah.
Yeah. No, last game.
First game.
It was not the last game?
2nd place, 10 kills.
Oh, right. Don't you?
Yeah,
sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, as you say, someone like a Doozy, for example, when we're just taking a look at him there for a moment, he really does let a lot of his actions speak more so just in the game, which is really exciting to see. And I've said it a million times on this desk already here, even in the Kickoff Cup, but I'm super excited to see how eventually this Navi roster can come together, because there is a huge kind of, energy bubble behind this roster that is just waiting to be unleashed, it feels like, eventually when we get to phase 2.
Yeah, I mean, the whole group stage, in my opinion, was just a warm-up for them. Getting together, play together against some of the really best teams here in Europe. And they could, all right, they did pretty decent. Now it's time to actually shine and show everybody what they're made of.
Yeah, definitely. This is a team as well, obviously our phase 1 champions that are looking to step things up a little bit. In 11th place yesterday, obviously, we all like to see Mr. Squeaky at the very end, quite the character in his own right. What do you think that a team like ENCE has to change from what you've seen so far? Is it a knock-on effect from Face It Global Summit? What is it, Avenger, for you that's not quite clicking for ENCE?
I definitely think ENCE is... their mentality was hurt from not being able to get out of the group stages from the Face It Global Summit. And I think that could definitely carry over into this. They don't have anything to prove here. They already proved off in phase 1.
Yeah.
And they're not looking to come in to like change anything. They're not looking to have any new drop sorts or anything. They just want to do their best as they can right now. But what I want to, like the changes I want to see from them is them playing the same style of game that they played in phase 1. and I don't feel like they're doing that here.
Okay.
Not as successfully as they did there. They're not winning their 1v1s as often. They tend to lose 1 or 2 guys in some of these battles where they should be standing with 4 guys alive. We saw one of the early breaches on the Alamo west of Yasnaya, where they ended up losing 1 guy to that and ended up being kind of late. They did get a decent placement in that game, but it ended up costing them a lot. And if you are not 4 guys alive towards the end, it's going to hurt.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, as it is time here for Game Number 1 of Day 2. It's round 5 of the PEL Kickoff Cup Grand Final. It's catch-up time for 15 of our teams here as they look to try and rival the position, the Kings that have found themselves in number 1. It's time to go to the commentators.
Well, we're going to find out if anyone can challenge Liquid, who do currently hold the crown. Rich, I don't know who's up for the challenge. I don't know how ready they are for today, but we're going to find out right about now. Kicking off on Miramar, we're going to find out who dares to step to the throne.
Yeah, yesterday they kind of set the pace of how we're expecting things to go for the rest of this week. The performance was just something that rivaled what we saw back at PGI 2018 from OMG. Like, we'd never seen such an aggressive team, and I think it surprised a lot of teams, to be honest with you, even to the fact of where we saw Liquid in the final game rotating all the way to Sosnovka. The Jokers decided to take a few pop shots at them. I spoke to them about this last night. They'd said Samti's tire went. They literally had to turn and face. There was nothing else they could do. But I think it speaks larger volumes about the commitment that this team has. The call was made from the IGL, okay, the tires have gone, let's jump and turn face, and that's exactly what they did. And they ended up absolutely smashing the Jokers to pieces. So for that level of commitment to be able to just make the call there and then all 4 players respond and jump into action, it really sets the tone and says a lot about this roster. I think it's opened a lot of people's eyes. And most importantly, probably told people how they should be playing this game also, what to expect from Liquid. I think you have to play up to that standard. You have to play aggressive now. There's no sitting back and just holding back and hoping the circle comes towards you. Yes, you can bet your edges on where... speaking of betting your edges where this might go, you can try and take a guesstimate of where things may go. But certainly when Liquid's coming at you with full force, you need to be able to respond to that.
No, absolutely. I think we do need to look beyond Liquid for now. I'm sure we'll be saying plenty of their name late game. We need to look at who's sitting around that top 5 to, I guess, top 10 marker here. Who can make a big impression today? We did see the Desperados have a little bit of a glimmer of hope outside of Liquid's dominance. They did pick up a victory there. We did see a couple of the teams starting to look a little bit better overall, but we're looking at 7 as a bit of a surpriser. They had consistent results within that top 3. I doubted them, and I'll put my hands up and say I was very wrong to doubt them. They were absolutely incredible at pushing through with large numbers towards the end. We often saw 3 to 4 players still standing late game for them. And where are they right now? Let's see where they're looting. Okay, they're on the western side of Los Leones with a circle like this. Very nice for them. They get to have that early hop in towards it, only having Digital Athletics in front of them. That's a good shout. Vanguard, this is a bit more rough for them to start in towards. They're currently sitting in 3rd, so they're up in the northeast. That's going to be a little bit tricky. But then beyond that, you know, Desperados, Na'Vi, FaZe, and then Digital Athletics, this isn't a terrible circle for some of these guys.
You touched on Vanguard. I think they're used to this kind of rotate path and what they need to do of how to approach these circles. You have to remember, usually on this map, it's anywhere between El Azhar all the way up to Campo Militar. So they're used to playing the long game. And even if we look towards Erangel, they're up in North George. Yes, it's not Zaki. Yes, it's not Severny. It's, you know, all the way up in the north, but certainly can be further away from circles. There is a fair amount of distance you will have to travel. For example, what we saw yesterday when we go down to Military Island. I'm glad you touched on 7, though, with 2 second-place back-to-backs, and they're the second most with the amount of kills. 20 in the bag so far across 4 games is fairly decent. Teams that I think have yet to step up to the plate, Zuktan Nam and 3D Max, especially 3D Max, after what a sterling performance we saw during the group stage. It kind of throws me back a little bit to what we saw from NIP in London, where they completely smurfed their lobby, and then when we got to the finals, dropped the ball a little bit.
I am seeing some early rotations here. The scouts are out and about. We have Fuzzface on the move. Noki's already headed down south from 3D Max. So the teams that already were on that kind of western side have tried to put maybe their pawns in the right places to begin with. And I don't want to call Fuzzface or Noki a pawn, but for now they'll play that role. They're going to just try and hold ground and try and move up on the board. Digital Athletics, though, do have such a very good step here. Incredibly good loot location for this sort of circle, so they get to really pick where they want. and they've played it. They seem to play it well on the timing too for them. And I think the big one for me when we were talking about 7 earlier is Edelweiss. This guy went a little under the radar for me when we were looking at the other group stage. Still a very, very good player, but here he's really started to step up. Big damage coming through, big amount of kills. It does feel as though you're in the shadow of the giants with Liquid on the page, but you almost have to kind of put them outside of this. They are, you know, just not human right now. They're a little bit higher, but Edelweiss has shown some real potential, and I hope we see that today.
I think that's the whole story about contenders, right? Coming up to play in these big leagues. This is a kickoff cup. Yes, there is no one getting promoted to phase number 2, but certainly for phase number 3, all these teams are unlocking and saying, well, we can do this, we can play with the best of them, we can rock it with the big boys. And as you say, 7, Edelweiss himself has been setting the standard. I was hoping for a bit more from 3D Max. Again, it was only day number 1 of a new lobby, essentially. This is all different teams from what we've seen to the group stages. So certainly going away, speaking to your coach, speaking to your analysts, seeing the rotates from people, what they've done, where they like to go, and getting a feel for the lobby, looking for improvements now. FaZe, again, you mentioned about the early rotate fuzz pretty much going central of the map to get a pivotal position on this one in the circle. The most important thing for them is staying alive. So many times we see individual players just dropping.
Being picked up.
FaZe has always been known for that too. I'll hold that thought for a second.
Oh, Lux, great spray on that. I think there was some support, potentially one of the other Besiktas players, but really nice control over that distance towards Mikas, who will be put to bed by Simzy. So Besiktas are holding here and entering a little bit of a predicament. They're getting tagged up, pushed away, and they don't quite have maybe the step they believed they did, holding that little bit of higher ground almost.
We'll force this one back. There's going to be a road, barricade, blockade set up on the road. I have to be very aware that, oh my word, it does so much damage hitting the tree and then goes up in a ball of flames. Anime Lord is down. We'll continue the pressure. Might as well stick to applying it because the rest of NLT need to turn and face away from this one. I don't believe they're going to set up and try and fight it. Quizzy does need to get his health back, but you can already see, oh, out of the frying pan, into the fire. Maxu's already on the back lines and he's holding the angle, Lauren.
Well, this is that southeastern road that we knew there was going to be rotations on. You know, the Ents coming this way, Besiktas are probably coming this way. This is a very common rotation. So you can already see the earlier teams who are in that area instantly setting up these sort of crossfires, these really tricky blocks to get past. And we can see Liquid actually committing very far south, and they're the kind of next step beyond Northern Lights. You have Northern Lights, Zucht and Nam. You have Besiktas and Ents kind of having a little bit more of a northern presence in this. And it looks like, speaking of 7, they're very close by to Digital Athletics. And I don't know if they know where these teams are. Krabs just kind of committed to this one with the vehicle. Mert and Sixmo are actually in this compound. Mert's not even in a building, so he's going to see this, make the calls. They've all pulled up on this. Sixmo is waiting very patiently. He's got 3 players in front of him. Really nice catch from Page there towards Quizzy. That's the smoke dealt with. And that should be a pickup on the kill, too. That should go to Zucht and Nam here. I don't think that's going to be stolen anytime soon. But I want to see if anyone from that Digital Athletics side fancies a fight on this. This should be a pickup kill. And look at Sixmo holding his breath patiently. Once they breach this corner, it's game time. He waits patiently. First man to show, Frank. Frank checks the corner, he goes down. He can't convert on the second. It's gonna be a trade out. Good work from 7 to stay together. But this nade, that could be quite good. I don't know if it went far enough. I don't think it did. It got held off by the stables, but now positions noted. Mert has to be careful. He is alone. The rest of Digital Athletics are quite far away in the north. There's phase between them. So you can see where 80 is. The logo's behind that. That's Mert's teammates. So he is your one man here.
That's the most important thing. He really needed that grenade to hit for the simple fact this gives away his position. He could have held a point and maybe potentially let some players walk into his building, but nope, they'll now have the info that he is there lingering in the distance, and you've already seen strength in numbers. I like the approach as well. They had the initial early info that there could be a player lingering there, and all of a sudden they hit it as a total corner, which we see time and time again from players. They'll just hit it in single usage or double, and you can take these 1 versus 2s. It's hard, yes, but it's certainly doable. But being able to push a 3-man stack like that and deny even the flush, because when you're in that scenario, you will go for the flush, right? Okay, I'm dead. It's as simple as that. I might as well pick up a point before I do go out of the server. So they confirm it. They deny that. Avanga have been damaged up. I mean, just cop friends is coming out of the blue, right? Yeah. They're quite in the distance. You can't see it on this third person, but they're all the way on the eastern front. I'd see again, just to note.
Goodbye, Vic.
Is playing a solo man's game. He's headed off away from the rest of FaZe. Circle will update. Let's see if it's a good idea to do so. Yes, it is.
Okay, who's got the upper hand here? Because this was originally Digital Athletics loot spot, Chumacera. Desperados seem to have a really good step into this. They can get Prime Cut, NIP, Na'Vi. The teams who went north have a pretty good shout in this. Team Liquid and a lot of the others banked on a... Wait, did the Vanguard just lose a player to the blue?
Which is either a bit of a cock-up on his end, or he doesn't have the meds. That's not good. He shouldn't be doing this at this level. Rather unfortunate. Yes, he does have meds, his bandages. This could be scrappy.
Ooh, that's very sloppy. That's going to hinder the progress from a Vanguard. I mean, at least it wasn't a hard shift to the west, but that was never really going to happen with that line to be there. But still, we are seeing the teams now kind of compressing into the circle because a lot of the teams who banked on it going north already have a good foothold into this. A lot of the teams coming from the northern side, the Jokers, for example, would be very pleased with this. Your Navis, as said. NIP have pulled up quite close to Unity, and a lot of teams are going past Unity to try to get towards potentially Chumacera, and Ents are out to the east. So a lot of shots going to be coming down to the teams from the south, making that migration north. Uh-oh, Orange Snow might have overstepped here. He definitely did, being punished by NIP very swiftly.
Liquid have to be very careful. They may be avoiding Unity's bullets, but they're running right into the open arms of Ents just in the distance. Unity smokes her up. They'll get the easy res on this one. Trafeli does find Jeems. There is a pull-up here, trying to find some open ground. It's not going to happen this time round. Ibiza will be forced back. They can't push any further and commit more men to this because there'll just be bodies in the floor at this stage in the game. It happened yesterday, and the only one that they lost, because they committed so much to a compound, they were punished for it by Digital Athletics. There's going to be people in the open. And Ibiza at the moment, he just needs to find a home. His vehicle will be making a fair amount of noise, so seeing this big car in the distance, it's going to be an easy point for some people. Rotates back to his team, that's fine. Let's have a look who else. Probably the most magnetized area will be Chumacera for the simple fact that it's at 2 different levels.
Yeah.
Unity do tick the upper level. DA are in the back of it as well, so there'll be a little bit of a miniature fight maybe kicking off for prime territory on that one. But I suppose when you look further towards Chumacera, there is certain areas that you can't see inland. So will be a way to at least get out and emergency exit the city should this circle not be favorable to either end.
Checking in with the Jokers in the northwest. They are being pressured by Na'Vi. There's a couple of shots coming towards them. There is a bit of distance here, but clearly some of those shots had landed. I saw a knock there on towards the Jokers, so they're going to be trying to maybe reconvene together and just pull themselves into a better position. Maybe abscond from going towards Na'Vi uphill. Potentially maybe another route could be taken. Team Liquid still looking for their home, but look towards the south. It's Zooked and Nam going very close to Northern Lights. Who are going to hear these steps. And Paige is an animal, but this is a very scary little shack. And oh, Paige has no idea. Perfect. Opens the door, looks around, and gets the job done. Northern Lights claiming one. There's a trade. Eifel's there. That's big. They instantly went on the first. They didn't wait. They didn't have patience for any more. They wanted those points, and they might have just suffered for their impatience.
They have to make a push on this one, in my opinion, and I think they will. Yes, they do. You've got to clear it out. Don't let them get away with that. Apply that pressure. Keep going and mop up and punish them for taking one of your players. So the trade-off, yes, you don't want to be losing a player. That's fair, but to get 2 points out of it and knock them out of the roster, I'm okay with it. 15 teams alive, 56 individual players. Circle about to update. Chumacera, where are you going to go off the back of this? Okay, so we head to the north. The most least condensed area as well. There's only one team up there, and that's going to be Na'Vi. How do they play this one then? Are they going to split up and take more of a foothold in the circle and basically dominate as they have done before? We've seen them time and time again. Once they have a circle, they'll split up so heavily and just deny anyone access to a certain percentage, at least 20-25% of a circle.
Mert's here.
Basically bodyguard it.
Team Liquid just ran past Mert, and I'm a bit worried about that. He can just be a little dagger in the back. I think he might just be on his own still. Oh, Fuzzface in the middle of the open. Mert finally shows his hand, and Team Liquid are too far away to maybe respond to this. Besiktas have found Zooked and Nam, or should I say, Zooked and Nam have found them. That's the next battle. They got past one team, and now they found another. This is Team Liquid pulling up, but Calvin Klein, this man I would not mess with, but he's been forced off by Samty, and Ibby is there to apply pressure from the other side. And that is exactly it, but the good positioning coming out from Kolementa means that it's not without answer. Samty now asked a question, can he find his answer? No. This is a big play coming out from them, but Jemty has arrived at the right time, executes Tozera, and that's where the Desperado suffering because the third party, Rustamar, has found a shot there. That's from the eastern side of town. So instantly they've gone from 4 to 2 with no chances of revives.
Desperados put on red alert. They'll have to find some form of shelter. Next team is already on way with the rest of Tornado Energy. They're looking for a foothold in this one because they're outside up against the blue. So are Avanga, so are 3D Max. So the French and the CIS rosters all the way on the west, just a little bit down south, are going to have problems of their own. FaZe Clan have met 7. This will be pretty rough as well. Still, Simsy, knocked. This should be the confirmation as well. We'll see if anyone gets the steal. No, they do not. Vaxu sees that through with the M24. Job done. Eki up on top of the hill. Still looking for any scraps of that battle if anyone wants to try and show the face in a 1 versus 1. They'll be happy from that. FaZe are in a very wild and wonderful split. They've got essentially in a 1-1-1. Uber in the circle. Mexi did split off from the rest of the pack to get them
but
at least a shelter.
Alive.
They do, and it's nice to see how far they can go with 4 is a different question altogether, because Uber now might have to take a fight. Excuse me, no, it's still Fuzzface. He got knocked down earlier on, hit the deck with about 5 to 10 HP. God knows how he stayed alive and did come back to full health. He's a man who can, especially when it's a 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3 scenario.
Backing from this, I'm wondering where Liquid are going here. I'm questioning this a little bit, if I'm honest, because there's not a great deal of cover, and they're on foot. This is scary times, and I don't know if FaZe, or should I say Fuzzface, is going to really help them out here, because 7's up on the hill, can't really do it. 8C had to take a fight, and he does. Good play from 8C. He was your kind of solo man for FaZe that pushed them in towards these situations, playing very well. But now FaZe, on all fronts, are getting a great deal of eyes towards them. 8C has confirmed that's a point in the pocket. A beautiful death is there. Digital Athletics hold the corner. Beautiful death. Gift them out like it's all free. Look at this play on the wall, but can he find more? He's about to get a lot more presence towards his building. Idrik, oh, dangerous play and excellence coming out from Digital Athletics. That's 2 kills individually for him off the back of a pull-up. That is not easy to do.
It was fantastic to see, but also a questionable move at the end, just to show yourself behind the wall. It give him an easy line of sight and just knocks him down. Job done. They're eliminated in 15th place. I saw one of the members of FaZe actually go down. It was IT, of course. 7, they see him and confirm it. Krabik picks up the point. Uber just lingering in the distance on your screen right now, looking across the kill feed. Max has just decided to confirm his teammate as Verin and take him out. That's not very nice of him, but hey-ho, whatever works. Mexi's still sitting in that house up against the blue, probably because he knows that Digital Athletics are just in front of him. We've still got, for this circle, oh, actually, okay, yeah, this circle, there are so many teams that are still down south.
Yes,
We've only got literally 3
yeah.
teams. Navi, NIP have gone all the way to the top, the most northern compound. Navi set up in the middle, a 4-man stack. Liquid could have a bit of an advantage here, so they can take individual battles. It'll be a 3 versus 1.
They're pushing Senya.
I think if Navi aren't ready to receive it, they'll be in all kinds of trouble. They are very split.
Yeah, they're pulling themselves back together now. I think Senya getting that little bit of attention is going to make them responding. Kind of has done. It's given up a bit of room for Liquid to move in, but without the vehicles, they're still on foot, and I don't know what sort of cover they have, but we have NIP from the north. That's going to be a big, big crunch point. NIP have found a good angle towards Na'Vi, hence why Bestlock has gone down, but the Desperados just put their hands in the face of Ents and say, get out of our building. Truthfully, going to be the one to fall here. Squeaky's still alive outside. And this is on the very southern side of Chumacera, or should I say the northern side of Chumacera, the southern side of the circle. It's not safe out here. This is not in the new circle. And while all this happens, 7 are setting up to gatekeep these 2 teams.
Initial grenade goes off, does a fair amount of damage, but it's a 2 versus 1, and they know exactly where he's going to be. He's looking at the vehicle to see if they want to try and get out of this, and he did touch it, Laura. Now 7 is just waiting here.
That nade was so perfect from Golden
Mentor. Off the back of the... How do you know he's there? He's gone for the angle bounce, and it's done the job. So, Ents, they're gone. As you said, 7 can just wait there with open arms. They have to come out of that building. FaZe in the back, just so you are aware, are making a move. They're going for a very long drive, and 2 teams have an eye line on them. So keep an eye on that kill feed to see if they do go down. They've pulled up and they have survived somehow. Snoopy is confirmed by Moon. Buster now opening up onto Desperado. They did come out of that building. Uber fancies one as well. Takes out Mert. That's still the battle that's going on. DA for some reason stood their ground and held back, and it's cost them dearly. Tornado Energy has gone, so that was a poor rotate from them. They were up to, I think, 3 or 4 men alive going into that circle, so I don't know what's happened there. But there is a response from Colder Men to Desperados fighting back. Third party, Eldevice has gone down. That's from Unity all the way across the board.
Yeah, I don't know how on earth this is being pulled off. DA have just gone down. They did have so many battles on so many fronts, though.
FaZe battered them.
FaZe did catch him out. They might have just lost Fuzzface in the meantime, though. I'm not sure if he's recoverable with the blue moving in, especially with the pressure coming in from across the board. It's not going to be an easy pickup if they go for it, and I don't think they are. If he can crawl forward, maybe. Beyond that, though, we have Team Liquid finding Besiktas Edelweiss on the receiving end of way too many shots there, and it's Team Liquid holding the southern side to attention. Zuktanam out in the southeast. And this is not going to be easy either. Unity on the move. Orange Snow trying to get out of this. I think we've seen a bit of a commitment to the blue here.
Heel.
I don't know if you're going to get away with that anymore. I think it's too little too late.
He was very overzealous there. He didn't watch his health. Fighting from the blue will punish him. That's a bit of a Monka-S moment. Needless to say, Circle does hard shift. We are going to the west. Na'Vi no longer central on this map. Liquid. We questioned them about being on foot, but I tell you what, it's paid off for them. Now they have the lay of the land, they have a hillside they can play off the back of, they've got some rocks, maybe to give them cover from FaZe, who will be encroaching on their position down from the south. Zuk to Nam do have to make an entry point into the circle somewhere on the east. But the teams that are looking to still get out of a tricky situation, Seven have both FaZe and Liquid aiming down and raining down hell upon them. Unity are all going in the same vehicle. That could be extremely dangerous.
Yeah, Cold Momentum might just try and take him down on the way, because I think he might be dead to the blue. He might just be able to stay ahead of this one potentially, but he is worse for wear, and Seven are taking all the fire right now. That's from FaZe, from Liquid, from just about everyone. So far, Gemty got the knock, and he got the kill there. That's more surprising than anything, with FaZe eyeing that top two. Buster's gone down, a big blow for Seven, going down in this position after their really good top three pushes. We're looking at FaZe, we're looking at Liquid in the south, Unity here towards the southeast, yet to be safe. You've got Zuk to Nam above them, Na'Vi in the northeast, and IP have shifted across the west to find their step into the circle, but you still have the Jokers in a very, very powerful position here.
Is this deja vu? Is this almost the third circle we've had like this in 2 days? Coldamenta is spotted, Zdovnik puts him in the grave. Ninth position will be their final standings in game number 1. Beether and the rest of the boys on Liquid have been copped, though, by Jokers. However, Jokers paid the price. Having a crack at him yesterday on the bridge. Only 3-minute live stims, and there you go, just like that. Wakey, wakey, Yamosh. You have a shot at Ibby, and he will answer back. The SKS dinks him in the head, and he's down.
Oh, no.
See, unfortunately, will clip one of his teammates more than likely just when they get out.
Yeah, but the issue is now they're completely in the open.
Oh my, he just snaps
Gemty's
to him.
caught such a glimpse of this. Ibby's confirming the kills. Oh, this is really, really bad. VOD did find one back, so it might slow down the roll from Team Liquid, but that was a really bad mistake to happen at that moment. Not what you're looking for.
You're just feeding them at this point.
Yeah, and it's, well, we'll go look at the remainder of FaZe. Uber, I don't think is recoverable. No, confirmed by Unity. Put to bed. As Liquid still have 3 up here, we've got Na'Vi with 3, Unity with 3. I think Jokers, all cards in the deck, and NIP holding on to what they have. I think they're down to 3 now, with potentially one of them bleeding out here. I don't know if Gaxi can be picked up, so that will be 2. And that is the Jokers and Liquid. Very pleased with this circle. Liquid will probably shuffle across, but everyone else has to move in.
I really like what the Tab's doing. It could be a little bit dangerous if he's in a very open position and many people have an eye line on them. However, going forward like this and not getting pinned up into that compound is fantastic work, because otherwise Liquid are going to centralize and basically just await them and let the blue do the damage, force them into the aggressive stance. So taking up middle ground like that's a fantastic play. It's an aggressive play, makes it another single man standing for FaZe. Who would have thought it? Unity could be dangerous. They probably have to tackle Liquid head on, because I don't think they'll be able to make it to those compounds with no vehicles in such an open ground. Up to now, this is the battle that we need to keep an eye line on, just for the simple fact that they're the ones that have to do all the work.
Doozy's angle is keeping them locked in here.
The more questionable factor, the more dangerous factor here, Lauren, is the fact that Unity sees all this, so once Navi's done with it, they can just arrive and await them with open arms.
Yeah, you can see Zuk to Nam look for another option, because Na'Vi are pretty much that CIS wall that you can't get past. It's Senya to confirm what was started. Really nice play from Na'Vi. I still love Senya's positioning then. He was out on his own, but now the knock-on effect is NIP, Team Liquid, Unity can all set up on them, and they have a literal uphill run now to get in towards that new circle. They're going to have to pick whichever poison they fancy. Is it Unity? Is it Liquid? Liquid have other issues. One of the Tab, 2 potentially works. I don't know if he's going to get involved in this, and NIP. Nades go down, and Na'Vi are being held back here. Doozy's already on the move. He's going to find his own path, potentially. I think there's some ridges and divots almost in this. Oh, Pokemoladoy, that's a big spray coming through from Recrent. I do think there's a third-party potential from the Jokers. Yes, they have vision over this. So if Unity over-peak, if they crest those hills, there's trouble ahead, but Liquid are on the move.
Yeah, Liquid want to get involved in this one. You have to be careful of the Jokers just because they have that plateau they can work off the back of. Doozy's clearly heard what's going on up here. Notices the steps. Liquid need to be careful, though, that they pick the correct fight. If they do want to take one of these as a challenge, then the second party will get involved, so they have to be very careful.
Well, we do have old Na'Vi against new Na'Vi. That's a fun part of the Eastern fight so far. And Liquid are your last line. They wait. They don't need to over-push here. They probably want to. They probably want to be aggressive on this just to clear it out and give themselves that freedom down the line. But it's a very dangerous play with so much potential. The Jokers are still firing away here. Muxy is a long way up from this. NIP are under fire with limited amounts of cover to work forward from. Hence why Moon, as to why Moon can watch them in this.
And again, this is from that plateau. Because they've taken that compound, they can just look all the way across. Maybe we see Na'Vi kind of reading this information to their advantage. Circles,
it's centralized.
Yeah, it's not too bad for any team here. And the fact that the tab had actually gone off about 400 meters from the rest of the Jokers, they've got a full four-man team they can put into this and have all the bodies in the world. Mexi still, the Lone Ranger all the way down south, will be inside the last remaining compound. So could shut anything down if someone wants to make an advancement to bunker themselves in. NIP.
Oh, they're moving on this.
Ooh,
Unity are moving in. Here we go. The traitor there. That's good from Sadovnik to catch out doozy like that, but it's not without an answer. You're seeing the trades coming back in, but the third party came out from Gemty. It forced the hand, and Unity have lost out, but now there has to be another push. There has to be that follow-up. The Jokers are on the move. We're seeing Ibi go down from very far away. This could force NIP into the fight now. Vanguard still have a player up north. You're going to see Na'Vi probably working their way up as well. This nade could be the death of Team Liquid. NIP getting fire from across, though. That's going to potentially hold back Na'Vi. That's going to slow their roll, but no! Vard goes down. Next nade's going to come in. Senya's peeking it. Senya gets slapped back by Gemty. Maxi's gone down to the blue. Gemty finds Senya, confirms what was started. The spray is good, but it's not good enough. That's Pokemon staying alive somehow, and the extension from Ibi gets the job done.
Such a bait, just a bait and switch straight out. Samty over peaks, falls back. Gemty goes and gets his health up. Okay, it's not without damage, he is down, but they can keep getting these reses. You mentioned about NIP. Now they've smelt the blood. That nade does give the information that they're coming. It bounces up. That could be dangerously devastating. They both run. It wasn't cooked enough.
Samty's isolated, Rich. This is scary. He's a little on his own. They can't really help him right now. He needs to go off the heels and probably try and run that southern side, but he's in between a rock and a hard place. These nades are keeping them humble. The Jokers aren't particularly helping them out. If they swing northeast, they could take down NIP, and it's NIP finding Samty as he tried to move forward. Vard waits and lingers below in the depths. Ibi spraying across towards that hillside, but NIP have gone down. It's the Jokers holding everything in this circle. They've completely pushed east, and Team Liquid have their backs to the blue and very limited amounts to work from here.
The problem is on the opposing side, you've still got Yamosh holding the angle. Now Mexi just wants to tickle a few of them. Deez does get involved with the grenade. Ibi is found. And I would expect an aggressive stance here from the Jokers just to push up, wipe out Liquid, and get the job done. If they keep 4 players alive after this one, Mexi has absolutely no sorting chance in hell. I don't know if Moon knows where they are. They're up there. We need to have a look at his POV. Yes, okay. Gemty in a hut like this. I think that's a big GG for the Jokers.
Yeah, they played it very well. They were lucky in a way when the circle shifted to their areas, but that's one way to get them out. 2 teams stand. 1 team stand, should I say, and then 1 solo player. Muxy, what can you do here? Put on a show, put on a display. Let's see what you've got left in the tank. Couple of nades, 1 smoke. He's got another there. He can make something out of this. It won't be much, but maybe he can punish, potentially get a couple of points. Always good. But we know that FaZe can always pull players into late games. It's whether or not they can actually keep more than 1 player here. But credit to the Jokers for that aggressive play towards the east. They certainly noted where the big threats were coming from and instantly swept them aside.
He's counting how many, or at least where the locations of these players are. And I think you make a decision. Do you go and try and go for the knock and a flush, or do you just wait here and let the blue do the damage? It will come up against his back, and then for the next one, he can just essentially just give it up. This is why the Jokers are working their way down, because they know that this is a free point. Mexi's got a smile on his face, so he either just baits them in and then dies to the blue. It's like, huh.
Go on, make your stand.
You thought. You thought.
Go on. Go on, Mexi. Give us something. Give me 1 kill. Give me one kill here. This is potential. That's in the open. Bit of a cross. Good crossfire from Deez. That's a knock. Good. Go by one by one, and you might die 1 by 1. I'm not going to get hyped up about this yet, but that's a hard revive if they want to really pull off the pressure, because Yarosh could, in theory, fall off this one. Went out the door, didn't check it. It's the Jokers to find the first win here in the finals of day 2. Match 5 is theirs.
And when you sit in 14th place coming into day number 2, you need a performance like that. A few kills in the bag and the 10 points from the win. And this should elevate you into the top half of that leaderboard. FaZe keeping Mexi alive until the very last stance. And it still begs the question in my mind, FaZe getting to this late game, I can only imagine what they would do if they had a full team alive. Just 2, 3, 4, what they could do. Like Mexi and himself being able to take down one player like that. If there is some kind of response from a teammate, I still think this team it's such a powerhouse and you cannot sleep on it.
No, you're absolutely right. They very much could be so dangerous, and we consistently get excited by what FaZe could do. But I'm excited by what the Jokers did in that final couple of moments. I would say the circle going towards the west end at the end, that hard shift back, certainly helped them. They didn't get as much attention as the southeastern teams working that way, or the eastern teams potentially. Overall, I felt that could have been Na'Vi's game as well. They were also very close towards that. They got pinched in against Unity, and it all kind of crumbled. But for the Jokers to instantly kind of notice and find the flaws and the strengths in the teams that were remaining and then push them like that, they literally swept from east to west. It was a very smart play. It kept them in the game, and I like aggression late game that gives you those advantages.
I think it was really good to leave one player all the way back on the plateau and basically just dictate where you need to be. You saw Liquid peek up, it's okay, Liquid's over there, go after that one. It's essentially just pointing out figures and saying where they are. Andy also kept Mexi at base, so he wasn't allowed to get out further into the circle and maybe third party with a grenade. And because that's, for some of these teams at this point, the best time to strike is when a team's engaged. Maybe you mop up a kill, maybe you steal one. More importantly, you hit them while they're weak. All these teams are going to be chomping at the bit to heal, they're going to be laid down, they're going to be damaged. Some of them may be missing armor and utility that they're going to be picking up from the body boxes. If you third party that, once the fight's done, you're kicking a man while he's down, but you're also picking up points as well.
Absolutely are. I like it. It's good play, and we might see some new winners today. I think we've all kind of been behind the scenes taking counts on how many wins Liquid are going to get. I know a couple of people are expecting more, and they certainly gave it a good attempt in that one. But we'll find out if there is going to be some new names. I'm glad to see a couple of new names jumping up the top of that list, getting towards that top end of things. I think that's going to be exciting. It will keep the table a little bit more competitive. Obviously, with the top couple of teams starting to break away early, but with 7 going down quite early on here, that does mean that maybe there is still room towards the top. But I think that's enough from us. Let's head off to the rest of the show.
That's right, phenomenal strength by the Jokers in the final circles there to be able to put down every single other team, yet Team Liquid still gets another top position here to be able to keep solidifying themselves at the very top. Great for the Jokers though. Guys, Froz, Avenger joining me here as well, for them to be able to have what is to be considered, I feel like their map relative to kind of performances on Erangel, it's a different team obviously, but Jokers in the past did very well on Miramar, getting themselves a very strong finish there towards the end. All 4 alive, good to go.
Yesterday was another story, sadly, for Jokers, but they redeemed themselves here with that win, grabbed themselves some kills as well. I mean, it was great to see how they approached the circle as well, especially towards the end there. We saw them being on the west side, and then they just pushed 3 guys over to the east because they heard that everyone was over there and fighting. Why not go over there and grab ourselves some free points going in the third party?
Yeah, I love their aggressive style in group stages, and I definitely was hoping that they're just going to carry over into the grand finals. Yesterday was not the case, definitely, but this is kind of some of the sprinkle what these guys are capable of. You have to remember, this is also a mixed team. They're only playing here for the cup, so them coming in here and showing their individual performance and them as a team is also going to be kind of promoting themselves going into everything. I know some of the guys they're going to be playing in the contenders, but they definitely still want to kind of market themselves as very good players.
I mean, so much so here in terms of a step up from yesterday to one game here as a win. We see them getting themselves 19 points from this game, which then means now that they've rocketed up from down far in the table to like 5th place right now. So that's how close things are, because so many points were being soaked up by the likes of Team Liquid at the top.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to most of the teams, not just Jokers. If any team will win a game, they will put themselves up there. Because, as you said, Liquid has been racking up all those high points. So they're grabbing most of it, and then they're sharing. The other teams get to share the low points.
Actually, it will be very interesting to look at even like a pie chart of how many points were available yesterday and how much of the pie was actually Team Liquid. Be kind of cool. I don't know why I'm talking about this, but regardless, I like graphical representation. All right, that's how I'm going to look at that. FaZe getting themselves a second place, 5 kills on the board. Mexi valiantly trying to fight things out there just before. Nice to see at least.
Yeah, I mean, getting them second place is really good. Now, we saw him yesterday do pretty well on Miramar.
Yeah.
But it's all about the Erangel game, in my opinion.
Definitely struggling in this kind of the new meta with everyone leaving early, taking center compounds, and the edge not being as strong as it usually was in the kind of in the FaZe Clan era, as we saw. So them being kind of the late rotation style team as they are, it's going to cost them eventually. It's going to cost them members, and as you saw here, they took a lot of fights, and they're looking good kind of throughout the whole thing, but they keep losing like one member or none leading to that. So then when they take like 3 or 4 fights, then they keep losing players.
Well, let's check in actually as Mustache Dave is now ready, and we can head down to the show floor.
What's going on? We're down here at the winner stage with Diaz from the Jokers getting themselves the first chicken dinner here at the Kickoff Cup for the squad. First of all, how does it feel to finally rack up a chicken?
I'm really happy. I'm really happy about that we win. So it's a really important win for us right now because we have like probably 14th place in the global leaderboard after yesterday. So we just different our captain. We're just right now making decision as 4. All guys just talking about some. Yeah, we can do it. It's something. And Yarmor said the last word in our team, and just we made it.
So coming into the cup as a mixed team, passing the group stages, how important was it for you and the squad? Like, how much of an accomplishment has that been just to make it here simply?
To be honest, it's really important for everyone because of. If you're talking about myself, I have 8-month break from Lance, and I have invited for standing in for Jokers, and I was really happy. And it's a really important tournament for everyone, to our squad.
And then coming into the final stage, what type of goals do you guys want to reach here, the Jokers, and accomplish this with?
I don't know, maybe money. I don't know, maybe some. Maybe money, yeah. We're just playing as mixed team here. We know it's tournament only for 1. After that, we probably pass away from this tournament. And I'm really happy to win this. And I want to be in top 8 or top 4, who's know.
So you brought up a point that coming in from yesterday to today, you guys changed up your captain. Yep. And did that play a major role in this victory here?
I guess when I was captain, I can't shoot to people because of I'm always was in the game, I always was in rotation, but my main role in team is like fragger, and we just thinking about it, and we just make a decision like, yeah, we need a new captain or making a decision as 4, and it's really good. How you can see we win.
And then talking about this game that just happened, can you kind of break down one play that allowed you guys to make it to the late game with 4 alive?
I think if you have 4 alive in the end, it's really important. So it's probably like 80% for win. So we're just playing from the west side, and Shoko always going to the west, and we just take our position and defend our spot. That's all. We're just taking our spot, yeah.
All right, anything else you want to say out there to the Joker fans?
Yeah. Спасибо всем за то, что нас болеете. Мы все видим. Спасибо вам большое. Болейте за Джокера. Мы будем стараться побежать дальше.
There we go. The Jokers. Diaz, thanks for that interview, my man. Getting the first chicken dinner here at the Kickoff Cup. Let's see what the panel has to say about game number 1. Good job.
That's right, with well, that's not what I wanted coming back. Bloody Tamil. Anyway, all right, Joker's game. I'm like, oh yes, I'll do a serious intro, you know. I'll hype up people. They got themselves a win. And now we've seen Kamker as well here. Oh my days. What's going on here at the Kickoff Cup?
Oh, this is fantastic.
The contender teams are really having a lot of
fun. The personalities on the contender teams just hits through the roof. I love that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights here from our previous game. Yeah, you're not going to be on for a while, mate. I'm sorry. All right,
But
talk to me about this
definitely,
game.
definitely a similar circle to yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I mean, basically the same ending as we've seen on the Miramar games yesterday, and we saw some of the teams taking advantage of this. Navi, one of them, taking all those compounds for himself. They did 1-1-1-1 split, trying to hold everything, but it was a little bit too hard for him.
Can you calm down over there? Are you all right?
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. It's just Tommel is just
You're having a fun day, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not, I can't help it when people do funny stuff like this.
Okay, all right. Steady on.
But yeah, if we talk about the last game there, we also saw like Liquid taking a hill that we saw 7-player on yesterday for a while as well. They took control of that. We saw that a lot of other teams, they also knew, hey, it's the same circle. This is the hill we want to be holding right now. And they went for it as well. But Liquid held it down pretty good with some help, of course, as well.
Definitely did good hold there as well by Digital Athletics when the breach potentially came along, as he understood that there was 2 people there. Joker's getting themselves early kills too, as they were able to snipe off a few moving around here and there, as Vanguard did take some casualties.
The high ground position that Jokers took there was really crucial to everything going forward, because they could put so much pressure to everyone, kind of fending everyone off. Beautiful there with a nice spray onto Phosphase as well. That hurt FaZe Clan a lot. Ended up losing in Phosphase for that battle as well, and obviously Mexi only being 1 player alive towards the end. You can't really do anything, especially with Jokers having all 4 alive in the end there.
The thing that always impresses me when we watch these first-person perspectives is how the pros incorporate lean between each shot to make it so much harder to hit them. It's really cool to watch, kind of, because you have to be constantly adjusting your shot from left to right to left to right, right?
Yeah, and the reason they're leaning is so it's hard to get that headshot on top of them.
Yeah.
And you will even see some of the planes actually just leaning left, straight up leaning right, and then they go back and forth all the time, and then adjusting their shots at the same time.
Yeah, very cool to see. See a lot of that from FaZe, see a lot of that from Team Liquid, as well as a lot of players here, of course, as we see these final moments. Team Liquid get barrage, and unfortunately, at the very end, an extra little grenade will finish them off.
Yeah, and D's with the double onto Liquid here in the end. He took down with the very long nade, actually very calculated. Nice shot there from Mexi, and with the 3x spray towards the end, obviously didn't win or get a kill from it. And here he was laughing. That was for the he tried to smoke up for the care package because he knew that if you were gonna be able to get the full level 3 vest and helmet, then he could maybe